Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode number 76 of the Below the Yellow Line podcast. I'm your host, Joe Laney Pavlon. Alongside me tonight, of course, I have my colleagues, Daniel Ford, Justin Hemmer, and Austin LaPlante. And we have two special guests. One who's been with us before, Blake, and YouTube NASCAR personality, and just all out.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
You fan.
Don't need the rubbing.
It's okay. You botched the introduction. No, I mean, honestly, really excited to be on here tonight. Been wanting to be on a podcast for quite some time, and obviously I've been seeing a couple of the episodes recently, and you guys do a really good job with it. And thank you for having me on tonight.
So the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs really just surprised a lot of us. Just looking at the people who are closer to advancing compared to drivers that are at risk of falling out, it almost seems like your predictions just go wrong. And I'll get into that a little bit later because there's one driver that is just taking the world by storm in these last two events. Ian Perez 48, hello, what's up? Wait, fine. We got six of us here. So we'll talk about NASCAR, the Richmond weekend, or the Cup Series. Xfinity Series doubleheader at Richmond, the final doubleheader of the 2020 Xfinity Series season, and the NASCAR Truck Series regular season closing event at Richmond, which now means there are 10 drivers remaining for this championship in the 2020 playoffs. We'll get into some F1 later on in the podcast, F2, the final race of the F3, FIA Formula 3 Championship at Mugello Circuit, the inaugural Tuscany Grand Prix. We'll get all that out of IndyCar. Later on, when we get into Mid-Ohio discussions here, and stay tuned for later on. We'll be in depth when it comes to the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the 88th running of this classic endurance race. But first, let's get started with the NASCAR Cup Series Richmond 400. It was the 28th race of the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series season and the second race of the 2020 playoffs. Brad Keselowski has advanced into the round of 12 with a win, leading 192 laps. What made Brad Keselowski so good in Saturday night's race? I'm gonna start with you, Justin.
Brad Keselowski, he started towards the front, which really helped his car, and he just showed what he used to do at Richmond. Like 2014, he dominated Richmond in that race 6 years before. He brought the same car that he won at New Hampshire with. He had that same setup. Like, he had the good setup like that car. He drove to the front end. He really did a good job at staying out front.
Ross, so your takes. Blue Jimmy.
Oh yeah, you want to go me? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't think anybody was going to stop that 2 car that night. I mean, he really was running the same car that he had for New Hampshire, which that race he was really dominant in as well. And I was there to witness it in person, which that was a pretty cool experience. But I don't think anybody could stop Brad Keselowski that night. But honestly, the biggest surprise that came out of Richmond has to be the 3 car. Has to be Austin Dillon. He is literally these past few races, ever since him and his wife had the birth of their son Ace. I mean, honestly, I think Ace has given him the motivation to go out there and give it his all. And I think it has really shown in the past few races. And honestly, I think Austin Dillon, if he can get another solid race here at Bristol this weekend, and honestly, if he keeps putting together runs like this, like what he had at Richmond, what he had what he had the week before, and so on and so on and so on. I mean, he could be a potential dark horse for at least round of 8. That's my bold prediction.
Yeah, speaking of Austin Dillon, with the way how he's performing now, I used to think I would have him out of the round of 16, the first round of the playoffs, right? But the way how he's being consistent now, that really had me have a change of heart. And I think he might be all the way to the round of 8, even though he has to be very consistent in Bristol and the next few races after that.
I'll leave it up to Austin.
Okay, well, basically what the rest of you guys said so far, Brad just did very well at Richmond. Austin surprised us all as well. That's shocking run. Again, well, I want to be off the non-chase people. Jimmy really struggled in that race. 9 laps down, like I think sub 30s. I think I forgot the specific position.
Finished 31st, and you can thank you know who for that. But I'm not going to touch that topic because I've been getting no. So
Yeah, I feel you, brother.
Yeah. So let me finish my thoughts.
Yeah.
I still think this first part of the chase, Crown Jewel, short track, one of the best things NASCAR has done since Brian France went to whatever that place is over there. 'Cause you know what I mean. The dumb stuff and just got out of NASCAR. I hope he stays out of NASCAR, and I hope this continues to go to the perfect way NASCAR is going through right now, and hope he continues to make good ideas and options in the future.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's good. That's very good for the what's the word here? The progression of the series. For new ideas, new things coming through the series.
Right. I mean, generally, in the postseason, they've done a lot of changes in the last few years, like slight adjustments to incentives. But in the end, these last 3 years, you're seeing stability through the last 10 races of the season and the format that goes with it. Doesn't mean it's perfect. I don't know. Let's just go down the results and take a look at where everyone finished. So Brad Keselowski obviously won. He's advanced to the next round. He won stage 2, 192 laps. That's his 34th career win in the NASCAR Cup Series. Just a really solid run for the 2012. Win more championships with the numbers he's putting up in 2020. Martin Truex Jr., the second place finishes continue for the 2017 champion. Now, Truex didn't lead a lap. He did start 14th, and no third win in a row for Truex at Richmond. But the numbers continue to be impressive, as always, for the New Jersey native. And Joey Logano. Logano starts second, led 45 laps, and finished third. Austin Dillon. You guys mentioned him. 155 laps led. 55.
No, I was about to say, I'm like, since when did he let that much laps?
Yeah. It seemed like he led 155 laps, but in all honesty, Austin Dillon has placed himself into the round of 12. With that kind of performance, I think we're going to see a lot in the future for the 30-year-old driver. Chase Elliott led 2 laps, finished 5th. Kyle Busch led 4 laps, finished in the 6th spot. Kevin Harvick led 41 laps after drawing pole. 7th place for Harvick. In 8th was Eric Almirola, who started 10th. Alex Bowman finished 9th. And Clint Boyer, the 2-time Richmond winner, round out the top 10. And here's some other drivers outside the top 10, including Denny Hamlin, who started P7, finished P12. Stage 1 led 45 laps. Kurt Busch led 15 laps, finished 13th. Cole Custer finished 14th. Matt DiBenedetto finished in the 17th spot. Ryan Blaney, an abysmal 19th. And William Byron, 21st. So now that the playoff drivers have Richmond behind them, there is one more race. It's at Bristol that will close the round of 16. 3 drivers are locked into the round of 12, which will be the next 3 races. We'll get into that a little bit later. Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin off points, and Brad Keselowski off the Richmond win. So the round of 12 will include Las Vegas, Talladega, and the Charlotte Roval, 3 completely different tracks. But in order to get into the round of 12, you have to get through these 2 short tracks first. And Bristol. So Joey Logano's the highest driver outside the locked-in drivers with 51 points above the cut line. In 5th plus 38, Martin Truex Jr. Austin Dillon is 6th plus 36 from the cut line. Chase Elliott plus 28. Alex Bowman plus 27. Kyle Busch plus 18. Eric Almirola and Kurt Busch plus 7, respectively. And Clint Bowyer is in 12th plus 3 of the cut line. So outside looking in, it's very close. William Byron minus 3. Cole Custer minus 8. Matt DiBenedetto minus 25. And minus 27 is surprisingly Ryan Blaney. Let's talk about Ryan Blaney. What went wrong for Blaney this year?
I think really, honestly, there's just been so many missed opportunities for him to actually, close out these races. I think honestly, this year should have been Blaney's breakout season, and I think he honestly should have at least like 3, 4, maybe even 5 wins at most. But there's just been so many missed opportunities. Whether if it's a screw up on pit, if it's a screw up on pit road, he gets involved in it. He gets involved in an incident, or some sort of karma happens. I mean, there have been so many missed opportunities for Blaney this year, and honestly, in this playoff, and honestly, is as we keep moving forward in the playoffs, he's not performing as the way I was expecting him to be. I actually had Blaney predicted in my round of 8, but I wasn't expecting him to be on the outside looking in, especially this early on.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin?
Like, the thing about Ryan Blaney, like, there was that penalty which didn't help him at all because of the ballast, which you don't want that to be unsecured because it's dangerous, and in the race, I'm like, oh, he could still get back up front. I'm like, and then he couldn't. Like, the car was not handling to his liking. Richmond, it's not his best track. That's his worst track, is the track at Richmond, which he just can't get a good finish there, so that didn't help about the track. And also about, and then we'd go to Bristol. It's
one of his better tracks.
But he has been involved in a couple incidents. Actually, I think he was in he crashed out of this year's one.
Yeah, he was running second. Yeah, he was running second and crashed out.
God dang it, Darian! Why did you do it? Why did you make him rub the belly, bro? Oh my God.
What?
That Darian Gillen, Black Lives Matter. He made Brian Blaney rub the Buddha belly in Las Vegas. Why did you do it, bro? It's your fault if he's out of the round of 16. If he's out, bro.
Darian Gillen is a native of Las Vegas.
Sometimes our picks are bad luck.
If you say so. All right, so we'll be back for Bristol. That will be round 29 of 36, and the final race of the round of 16 in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. But yeah, it's close. If you really look at 27 points, that can be easily made up fairly quickly in one race. You can lose 30 points in a race. You can gain 30 points in the race. You can gain 15 points by gaining, 15 spots. It's very easy to do that. Bristol will be a challenge.
Really to me though, even being 27 points, 27 points, that it may seem actually reasonable to, to get it, but you're obviously going to need a lot of help. You're going to need help. You're going to need stage points. You're going to have a solid performance if you're going to make up that gap.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on and talk about some NASCAR Xfinity Series racing at Richmond. They had their final doubleheader of the 2020 season.
Yeah.
Rounds 24 and 25 of 33, which means the two penultimate events of the regular season.
Yeah.
Leaving us with just Bristol. So, race 1 was Justin Allgaier, who won stage 2, leading 78 laps after starting 14th. It's his 13th career win over Justin Haley, who led 51 laps from the 10th spot. Kyle Busch, here's a fun fact. Kyle Busch had not ran an Xfinity Series race without leading a single lap since Las Vegas of 2018 in the spring, which was a race won by Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
Ganassi shows you just his number usually.
And Kyle did not lead a lap.
No, but he finished third.
Can someone tell me again why cup leeches are in Xfinity? Just
I don't know.
I just do not get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he only cares about himself, doesn't care about anyone else, just like Martin Truex Jr.
I'm still saying about give Kyle Benjamin a shot. He needs a shot and Gibbs. He needs a shot, but Riley Herbst is not performing that good.
Right. We'll get into this discussion a little bit later. Let's just go down the results for race 1. Austin Cindric finished.
You're no
fourth.
fun.
He led 64 laps in the race. Ross Chastain from drawing pole led 39 laps to round out the top 5. Brett Moffitt, P6. Michael Annett finished 7th. Noah Gragson, 8th. Kaz Grella, 9th. And Riley Herbst. Chase Briscoe, who led 7 laps, finished 11th. And Briscoe started 5th. Ryan Sieg finished 12th. Matt Mills. How about this? Matt Mills, 13th place. It's his best finish since getting that top 10 run at Daytona I think it was a few back when they had three big ones and he got a top 10. His best finish of the year. Harrison Burton finished 16th. Race 2 had Justin Allgaier completing the weekend. It's his 14th career win. Allgaier won stage 2. Likewise from race 1. Jeb Burton. Where do I start with Jeb Burton? His best career finish. Burton led 12 laps after starting 21st. Guys need to put him in a car or something.
You love to see it.
Let's go down the list. Ross Chastain finished 3rd. Chastain won stage 1, led 58 laps after starting 11th. Harrison Burton finished 4th, and Noah Gragson rounded out the top 5. Justin Haley finished 6th. Michael Annett swept 7th place for the entire weekend.
Wow.
Brandon Jones, who led 16 laps, finished 8th. Kaz Grella finished 9th. Once again, and Austin Cindric rounded out the top 10. This race was good enough to place him into the regular season championship.
Yeah.
And outside the top 10, Brandon Brown finished 11th. Chase Briscoe finished 16th after leading 13 laps. Jeremy Clements finished 17th. And Riley Herbst retired out of the race in 34th place after starting 6th. So now there's one more race in the 2020 Xfinity Series regular season. The points look like this. The top 11 are locked in. So Austin Cindric, who secured the first seed after winning the regular season championship over Chase Briscoe. Ross Chastain is the highest Chevy in 3rd. Noah Gragson 4th, Justin Haley 5th, Justin Allgaier 6th. The highest Toyota is 7th with Harrison Burton. In 8th, Michael Lynette, Brandon Jones, Riley Herbst, and Ryan Sieg. The last remaining secured positions, as there are now one race remaining. But if everything is to go by points and points only, Brandon Brown is above with 49 points over Jeremy Clements, who is beneath with 49 points below the cut line. All right, I guess Danny pulled out, so let's pull in Ian Perez 48 for just a minute.
There he is.
Yeah.
I think his mic is muted.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Ian, how's it going?
I'm good. How about you guys?
I'm good.
Yeah, doing pretty good. Still in Spain, but without the S, so we can't get a good finish. But
I fear you. That sums up 2020 nutshell.
All right. What do you think about Ryan Blaney? I know your driver was expected to have a better season than this. It started well. It's just not turning out the way Blaney fans like you expected.
Yeah, I know. It's been like this since he joined the 12th car in 2018. I know he's a great driver, but he just cannot close the deal.
Ian's walking around like it's a vlog.
Yeah, sorry.
Like,
Sorry about that. Hang on, get one more minute. Okay.
there's so many things I heard about Ryan Blaney. People are saying Todd Gordon's doing it on purpose. I'm like, he's not racing the race car, so it's not Todd Gordon's fault. He's not making the adjustment. He tells the crew what to do. So it's basically the crew that does the adjustments. But people are blaming Todd Gordon on everything, which is kind of weird that they're blaming Todd Gordon, who's only the crew chief.
I mean, Blaney always struggles at Richmond. It's one of his bad tracks. So I'm surprised
that's true.
how he did.
Yeah, pretty much.
I want to say this, and this is true of all forms of motorsport. The team has to all work as one. You can't really blame one person because everybody has to work as one. It has to be fluid.
Yeah.
So to be blaming him for everything is a little silly.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get back to Xfinity here. Justin Allgaier is considered the veteran of the series, and actually, by me, I considered him to be the champion, the championship favorite for 2020. But then all of a sudden, Chase Briscoe comes out of nowhere, just steals these events. Austin Cindric, Noah Gragson. I mean, I didn't see Austin Cindric doing half the things he did last year.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean Justin Allgaier's over.
no, but I mean, honestly, Allgaier. I think the one thing that's separating him from getting, from having a much higher ranking, I guess you could say, and a better odds on to win the championship, has to be the inconsistency, because it's either he wins a race or he gets involved in a crash. I mean, he's got to stop he has to stop the inconsistency, and it's proven in the past that the last round has always seemed to bite Justin Allgaier in the butt a lot. So we'll see if he can actually push through this time around.
Yeah.
I think Justin Allgaier finally got that good luck again.
Yeah, Allgaier is. If he doesn't win a race, he's outside looking in the top 5.
Yeah.
I can't really recall a poor performance out of Justin Allgaier since he joined
Wow.
Junior Motorsports in 2016.
Well, he had
I
some.
can't remember either.
This year, he had some races where nothing went right in a race. There were some of those races. Charlotte didn't do too well at Charlotte in May. Like, there's some races he does good, but other races he's like not there.
Yeah, and we'll just have to see where this goes in the long run. But that doesn't mean that it's over for Austin Cindric or Chase Briscoe or Ross Chastain in the top 3 in points. But in the end, it's going to be a tight battle for these last 7 races. But there's one more race remaining, of course, which is Bristol. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk some NASCAR trucks for Richmond. Round 16 of 23. It's the first time in 15 years they raced at Richmond. I forgot to mention, this is the regular season finale.
It's so confusing.
Yeah, everything is mind-boggling. You have to read and look. Oh, yeah, this race is that. And that race means this. It's just 2020 for you. But Grand Enfinger. Getting to Grand Enfinger. Thor Sport put on a clinic. Well, for 3 drivers, that is. 1 driver, unfortunately.
I copied that. You need the basic and professional plane to have 10 people. We have the free plane, which is only 6, according to StreamYard.
Oh, you got to pay to have 10 people here?
Yeah.
What?
It's like OBS.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's just get
Maybe
into
we
the trucks here.
money.
Grand Enfinger won. He led
Back to
18
trucks, back to
laps.
trucks.
Started 5th. It's his 5th career win. I'm surprised that's the 5th time Grand
Yeah.
Enfinger went to victory lane with how well he has done driving for Thor Sport. Matt Crafton finished 2nd after leading 25 laps from the 10th spot. And Ben Rhodes, who won stage 2 and led 66 laps after starting 2nd, marks the first ever 1-2-3 finish for a team in a NASCAR Truck Series race. And of course, the first time for Thor Sport that it's happened. But
Yeah.
there's your stats. So the Truck Series has been around for over 25 years, and there's never been a 1-2-3 finish by a team until Thursday night. All right.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really hope the trucks come back to Richmond. That race is a blast. It was fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be a
Please
wreck
come back.
fest, to be honest with you, because all these new drivers, they haven't run it before and everything. It's but,
Well,
but it
yeah.
clearly looks like they've obviously studied everything and
Yeah.
I mean it was actually a good race.
Yeah. Which it was also interesting that people say, oh, there was not enough yellows. But in the race, well, 2 of the yellows were Ray Ciccarelli's truck, the 83 and the 49. I'm like, wow.
I ain't gonna miss you when you're gone.
But it's like they showed a replay for Tim Vaines's wreck, but not for Ray Ciccarelli. I wanted to know what happened. And Fox did not show a replay.
I was annoyed about that, too.
Yep. It's the same thing that happened at Michigan when Ray wrecked. They didn't show a replay.
Yeah, it's always annoying when they don't show a replay of an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I think Joe, you're muted.
Joseph,
Yeah, I pushed the talk. Yeah, the results.
Yeah.
So in 4th, Brett Moffitt led 32 laps
Yep.
after starting 4th. In 5th, Tyler Ankrum. We'll get an Ankrum in a little bit, but this is very important. Ankrum locks himself into the 10-driver postseason. 6th place, Cody Rohrbaugh his third career top 10, first since that third place finish. He almost won that Daytona race in the Truck Series.
Yeah.
Orbuff started 28. That's way far
Yeah.
in the pack. David Reagan in his first Truck
That's a
Series
pretty roll
start
bar.
since 2006.
Good
Finished
stuff,
seventh.
David.
Austin Hill, who drew pole and led 65 laps, finished 8th. Timmy Hill, no relation to Austin Hill, finished 9th in his own truck. And Stuart Friesen, unfortunately, will not compete for a championship in 2020. He rounds out the top 10, and here's some other drivers. Zane Smith, who won stage 1, finished 11th and led 44 laps. Christian Eckes finished 18th. And Johnny Sauter, unfortunately, he will not be able to compete for his second Truck Series championship after finishing 27th. And it was a very shocking turn of events for Sauter.
Honestly, Friesen and Sauter have easily been the biggest disappointments of this season, especially Stuart Friesen, given the fact that he made it all the way to the final 4 last year.
Yeah.
It was that switch to Toyota, and just ever since, it's just been nothing but downhill for Stuart Friesen. So I don't know if it's just an off year or anything, but hopefully next year we could maybe see some much better things from Friesen.
Like, another thing about Stuart Friesen, people saying about the pandemic, but even that, Stuart Friesen didn't perform well at Las Vegas, which there was a practice and a qualifying, and didn't do too well at Vegas. Daytona, he crashed out. Like, it's like he doesn't have that much pace, but there's other people have been wondering about the trucks. People are wondering, why is Nice Motorsports not performing? I figured out one reason I heard. They don't have a full GMS alliance. They only have it when Ross is running. Which is interesting because, like, Nice Motorsports used to run like top 10s. Their best finisher recently has been Carson Hocevar getting 16th. Like, Nice.
They have not scored a top 5 since Natalie Decker at Daytona.
Yeah, the performance.
Aside from the races that Chastain has ran, now that is.
There's GMS equipment. There's GMS equipment, but now there's none.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know the full situation on Nice, but like whenever they're not whenever they don't have the GMS alliance, they're like mid pack at best. I mean,
it's like
pretty underachieving if you ask me. I mean, you kind of expect someone like Nice Motorsports to be like a consistent top 10 truck, but apparently I didn't know that. That basically their good runs basically had to fall back on an alliance. I mean, that's pretty underachieving if you ask me.
Yeah, and also another reason that the GMS alliance ended was because Stuart Friesen, they switched to Toyota, and GMS is like, oh, we can't afford that. They said they couldn't afford it according to GMS, but they could afford it when Ross runs the truck. So that's a little bit weird.
All right, let's go ahead and
bit of politics there, I guess.
Let's move on to the playoffs. There are 10 drivers that are locked into the NASCAR Truck Series Playoffs for the final 7 races of the season. Now, it works like this. So last year, from 2016 on to 2019, 8 drivers would get in. The bottom 2 would be eliminated after 3 races for the round of 6, and then, of course, the next bottom 2 would be knocked out for the final 4 race at the end of the season. Now it's a round of 10, 2 drivers get eliminated, round of 8, and then the final 4 is set. So the stakes are even higher now. Looking at the additional number of competitors these drivers will have when it comes to competing to get into that final 4 spot. Here are the drivers that are in the playoffs. Sheldon Creed will be the first seed with 2,026 points. 26 bonus points. Everyone gets 2,000 points, and then 2,000 plus the number of bonus points you receive. Second place, Zane Smith, who has 22 bonus points. Austin Hill is third. Zane Smith and Austin Hill are tied for second and third with 2,000 and 22 points with 22 bonus points. Grant Enfinger is fourth with 19 bonus points. In fifth, Brett Moffitt plus 15, or with 15 bonus points. And Bent Rhodes is sixth with 14 bonus points. Matt Crafton is seventh with 2,009 points with 9 bonus. Christian Eckes is eighth with 5 bonus points. Todd Gillen is ninth with 3 bonus points. And in 10th with just 2 bonus points, getting in the last spot, was Tyler Ankrum. Tyler Ankrum for GMS Racing. So if you look at GMS Racing and their full-time entries, all of them get in.
Yeah, all 4 of their trucks, which there's this season. There's Brett Moffitt is good. Zane Smith and and Sheldon Creed. But Tyler Ankrum, he's been inconsistent. He's been there, but other races he's not running where his teammates are, which is really a shocker that he's not like running. Like, he only has 2 bonus points. Other than that, he's not been doing too well. For like, he has top 10s, which is good. Other than that, inconsistency.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have to see. It's going to be very close, regardless of how this Truck Series playoffs turns out. I mean, I can't really lay my finger on one potential championship candidate.
Yeah.
But you guys do the talking.
It's
Like,
you don't know who's gonna have a shot, right? At this title.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna pick a safe pick here. I think honestly, Austin Hill might be in the best spot out of everybody to at least have a chance at winning the championship. He's obviously had the most top 5s, most top 10s out of everybody.
Yeah.
So far up to this point. He's been consistent when he needs to be, and honestly, I think, and also when it comes down to when it's going to come down to crunch time, I think watch out for that 16 truck. I think he's going to be something in the playoffs.
Well, when the season started in 2020, sorry to cut you off there, Justin. I had Brett Moffitt. Justin, who did you have?
I was going to say Austin Hill. The reason is, I checked. Austin Hill has 1 DNF with an engine. Other than that, he's finished his races, which is an impressive stat to have only 1 DNF, which was at Texas. Other than that, his worst finish, other than a 10th place, other than that DNF, was 12th at Michigan. Other than that, it's been top 5s, top 10s, which is really good.
That's extremely consistent. And
Yeah.
as we know, not exclusive to NASCAR, obviously. To win championships, you need to be extremely consistent.
Yeah.
I have a bit of an underdog guess right here. What I think who's gonna win it all. I have no idea why, even though he has no wins at all so far. Todd Gilliland. Yeah,
to be honest, too, I was not expecting Front Row Motorsports equipment to have a truck of all things in the playoffs. I thought they were gonna tank. I thought Front Row Motorsports was tanking.
I guess not. I thought they were going to be, running mid-pack. But no, they're in the playoffs. But
honestly, Front Row Motorsports honestly has to be the best. Honestly, in my opinion, is literally the best small team, not just Truck Series, but I think all NASCAR because whenever we go to the road courses or the super speedways, their driver Michael McDowell always seems to be there. It seems to be there at the end. And remember that hot streak that John Hunter Nemechek was on?
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably. I think Brahma Motorsports might be the best small team in NASCAR.
Yeah. Because they've been performing really well. I know people are saying, "Oh, Roush," but Roush is not small compared to like Go Fast is not close to them, but Front Row has been showing. They've been showing their speed.
Also, they have an alliance from DGR Crosley Racing, which is David Gilliland's team that Todd's father owns that Truck Series team. They have alliance with them, and of course Ford.
Yeah.
So with that said, they'll be back, of course, this Thursday. All right, Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday.
At Bristol. Bristol will be round 17 of 23, and the first of 3 races for the round of 10 in the 2020 playoffs. I'm just going to list down the tracks that are in the 2020 playoffs. We have Bristol, a short track, Las Vegas, a 1.5 mile super speedway, and Talladega, 2.6 miles of who knows what's going to happen this time.
Yikes.
Yep. Fun.
So I don't know.
How many drivers is this cutting down to? How many? How many after Talladega?
It will be down. It's 10, then 8. So 2 drivers will get eliminated, and then after that, it's I don't know why it's so weird how they upgrade to 10, but Xfinity still has 12, and there's not many that won in Xfinity. Xfinity could cut it down a little bit for them. The Truck Series is more winners in the trucks than the Xfinity Series, for some reason.
All right.
I'm not the one running the sport, so
yeah.
Neither am I. Some of us wish we would. How many times have we hit into that? Okay, let's move along. Let's talk some Formula One. For race 9 of the 2020 Formula One World Championship, for the first ever time, we had a Formula One World Championship Grand Prix event at the Mugello Circuit for the Tuscany Grand Prix.
Yep.
Is this the first time Formula One has ever gone to?
Yep.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's been motorcycle races, I think.
Motorcycle endurance.
I know that Formula One used to test there only.
Yeah.
Only test, not race.
Yes.
Yes, because even as a big Formula One fan myself, I still was kind of questioning that because there's been, non-championship races and such way back, and I didn't know if there was or wasn't.
All right, so let's get into what happened. The podium. Before we get into the podium, this race, the first race since the Brazilian Grand Prix in 2016, where more than one red flag happened in the event.
Yeah.
A race stoppage is very, very rare, and when they happen, I guess they just happen. Lewis Hamilton.
No surprise.
Boo!
Yes.
Who led?
Michael Schumacher will always be the best. Go ahead.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Lewis Hamilton is doing Michael Schumacher. He's led 50 laps. Fastest lap is 95th career pole, 90th career win. That places him one more Grand Prix away from Michael Schumacher in the all-time wins list. and his 158th podium. Just to put that out there, how big the numbers
It's
are.
happening.
These are
It's
dark,
Hamilton, the
these are
six-time-
dark times we're living in right now.
6-time champion.
And then
Yeah.
you know what's
happening.
even scarier? Lewis Hamilton, he still has years left in him.
Yeah,
That's
he's o-
scarier.
he's only 35 years
He wanted
old.
to retire at 37.
Yeah.
I thought he wanted to retire
Yeah,
at 37.
reminder. He still looks like Ian.
It scares people how this stuff changes sometimes. We see people dominate.
Yeah.
Sometimes it scares people who are like, oh no, somebody's dominating, but it happens.
Yeah, and people said somebody actually said, well, do you want to know what somebody had their podium that I heard? Somebody had Leclerc, Vettel, and Raikkonen. I'm like, that's not gonna happen. That's like Ferrari's too slow, and they were not that fast again. They only finished in the. If there would have been more finishes, Vettel would have probably not even got points. Probably.
All right, let's get into the podium. So obviously we talked about Hamilton and his win. Obviously, the win at Monza wasn't meant to be. It just didn't fall Hamilton's way. But in second, of course, Valtteri Bottas, who led 9 laps, started second. It's his 52nd career podium. And in third, Alexander Albon, history-making first podium for Albon in his career. Albon started fourth, and he becomes the first ever Thai nationality to step on a Formula One podium.
Yep.
So there's that.
And Ricardo was so close, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Come on.
And here are the point stickers. Daniel Ricciardo finishing fourth. His best finish with Renault.
So close though. If it wasn't for Lance Stroll's tire puncture, I think he would be
no.
third. I think he would be
Spain, but
podium.
without the S. Spain, but without the S.
Exactly. But if it wasn't for Lance Stroll's puncture, I think Ricardo would finish in the podium.
Yeah.
But he had a puncture.
Well, also Russell would have got 9th. Without the red flag, he would have got points, but nope, he didn't get points. He was so close to get points.
All right. Daniel Ricciardo finishing fourth. Sergio Perez finished fifth. Lando Norris in sixth. Danny Kvyat 7th. Kvyat started 12th. Charles Leclerc finished 8th after starting 5th. He had a very impressive qualifying run. Kimi Raikkonen's first points finish since Interlagos in the Brazilian Grand Prix last year when he finished 4th. Raikkonen started 13th. And Sebastian Vettel, it's his first points finish since the Spanish Grand Prix where he came in the 6th place finish. So they're your points finisher.
Vettel, come back to Red Bull! Please come back! Oh my god, I can't take Vettel. I can't take Vettel in a Ferrari. I'm sorry, I can't take it. He needs to come back to Red Bull. I'm sorry.
I
don't know why Red Bull denied the offer.
I'm sorry, Joe. I just had to let that out. It's been torture being a Sebastian Vettel fan.
I mean, but I agree with you. I think Ferrari just hasn't worked out for him. Absolutely not. And for a few reasons, I think the biggest reason is chemistry-wise, it didn't work with the team, and Ferrari in recent years has just struggled to have a good car. And those are the two biggest reasons.
Well, I think I'm gonna get my opinion in just a minute. Let's just go down the results here. George Russell finished 11th. Now, Russell's 11th place finish is his second career best. It's the second time it's happened.
But still no points.
no points. Romain Grosjean continues his 0 point season, finishing 12th. The last car to finish the race was Romain Grosjean. And now, only 12 cars were classified. Outside of the finishers, we'll go down to the retirements. Lance Stroll, first retirement. Lap 42, his puncture resulted in a serious crash, which actually brought out the second red flag of the race. There were 2 red flags. The first red flag was from a restart crash on lap number 7. And then on lap 45, due to debris.
And the tire barrier was quite moved.
Yeah, from Lance Stroll.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't get to see the finish when I DVR'd it, even though the finish was probably lackluster. Like, continue on, Joseph.
All right, Esteban Ocon was out due to a brake failure, which was in no relation to the crash that he avoided, which brought out the first race stoppage.
No, his brakes were smoking before the red flag. Russell's like, his brakes are smoking. The rear brakes were on fire a little bit, which is not good at all.
And that's why I should stay off the weed. I know I had to do that. We miss you, Marty.
No, but seriously, it goes to show it's a very, very difficult to get the brake temperatures right in Formula One cars. They the temperature range is like this. It's very thin.
Yeah.
So that can happen.
Yeah.
You almost made me choke there, Austin. Damn it.
Nicholas Latifi. So these drivers are out on the lap 5 crash.
Oof.
Nicholas Latifi, Kevin Magnussen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Carlos Sainz were all out after the lap 5 crash, which was basically a case of someone avoiding a car that was much faster off the restart. And
You really do hate to see it for Sainz, though. Like he had his career best run the last race, and then he wrecks out of this one. He almost scored that first win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just that's gotta be tough. But I know, honestly, after last week, I think Sainz, if he's in a pretty good ride, I think he's gonna be something special to watch in the next couple years.
We're going to Sochi the next race.
yeah, that's in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, the track that only only Mercedes has won there. Like, nobody can stop them there. Ferrari tried last.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I think the next 3 races, they haven't been. I think the next 3 races, don't ask me which ones, but they haven't been there in like years.
Yeah.
And I think it's 3 races. It could be 2.
I know there's Sochi. What's after Sochi? I'm getting confused.
One of them is Turkey. One of them is Hockenheim. I think it's Hockenheim. And I think there's one other track. I don't remember though.
I just like how the Jeopardy music is in the background.
Why is my mic so sensitive? Jesus.
Okay, I'm looking at the schedule. After Russia, it's Nürburgring, then Portugal, then it's Imola, then Turkey, then the 2 races at Bahrain, and then Abu Dhabi.
So it's 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
See, this is how much fun you can have when you have 2 special guests, and we have a hell of fun of a time right now.
Yeah, Joe.
Sorry for having
trying to bring some fun into this one. So, I mean, I'm hoping this is. I don't know. Keep going. Okay, keep going.
Okay. Let's talk about the World Drivers' Championship. Lewis Hamilton, of course, he's He's in outer space at this point with 190 points. About to tie Schumacher with the 7th World Championship. Valtteri Bottas is second with 135 points. It's about a good 35 points.
35? What is
45 points behind.
No, 55.
55.
That gap is going to be a pop.
Don't stay up too late next time.
Max Verstappen is third with 110.
Yeah, he scored
points.
no points. He finished 19th.
Lando Norris is fourth now. He's 2 points ahead of Alex Albon with that podium finish.
Yeah.
Albon, that was a shot to get fourth in the World Drivers' Championship.
Yeah.
Lance Stroll with his retirement keeps him at 57 points. Daniel Ricciardo sits in 7th with 53 points. Charles Leclerc is in 8th with 49 points. Sergio Perez, 9th with 44 points. And Pierre Gasly is 10th with 43 points. The World Constructors' Championship, Mercedes, like Lewis Hamilton, they're just in outer space with 325 points. And second is Red Bull Racing Honda with 173 points. And third, McLaren Renault with 106 points. Fourth place as Racing Point BMW Team Mercedes with 92 points. Renault is fifth. Renault, 83 points. We're going to talk a little bit about silly season after this. Move down. Ferrari is sixth with 66 points. AlphaTauri, 7th with 53 points. And 8th with just 4 points. Their first points since the Styrian Grand Prix. Alfa Romeo Racing Ferrari in 9th, still with 1 point, is Haas Ferrari. And Williams Mercedes is the lone team with 0 points after this. We'll be back 2 weeks for the Russian Grand Prix at Sochi, the Sochi Olympic Park. And, you know, the name
Joseph.
Olympic is synonymous with success. That's what Mercedes has, like, no.
Hey, Joseph. What happens if both Ferraris get passed by both Williams at Russia? Does that mean what happens if they somehow get
lapped?
Well, what happens if the Ferraris get lapped while running barely ahead of the Williams? Because there's fast corners. Ferrari's not good in those corners, and even under the corners that you break, they're not good in those corners either. So it's not going to help them.
All right. Now, silly season was the topic heading into the Tuscan Grand Prix. And first things first, Racing Point will turn into
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin Racing F1. Secondly, we now know who's going to replace Sergio Perez in that ride. Sebastian Vettel.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Four-time world champion.
Yeah. He has the championships, but remember what happened at Italy twice? He spun. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but what happens if Lance Stroll beats Vettel in points? What happens if that happens? Does that mean Vettel's doing something wrong if he's getting outbeat by Lance Stroll, which Vettel's once got angry after Lance Stroll in 2017. So it's going to be interesting seeing Vettel at Aston Martin Racing. It's going to be interesting.
I think Vettel needs this. Vettel needs a new environment. Ferrari was supposed to be part 2 of his successful run in the championship.
Get him out, please. I'm tired of this. I really am.
Well, also Ferrari does the team orders, which is
Oh God!
like no, they've done it many times. They did it. They tried it at Russia. It didn't work at Russia. That's how they basically.
As much as I am Sicilian Italian, screw Ferrari, bro. Come on.
Yeah, fuck
Time to get our stuff together. Come on.
we can go on and on about Ferrari, but at least let's acknowledge their presence in Formula One. It was their 1,000th Grand Prix.
Yeah,
I know that. It's just
it's just the it's
I
just
don't
their,
know. The management system has
or the
flawed.
well, also the engineers are like, do this and do that to the other driver. It's like, I bet you Enzo Ferrari's not liking this at all. He's looking at this
He's
like,
not.
why is
Nope.
that team bad? He's just shaking his head.
But at the
God, no,
same
he's
time,
rolling in his grave.
we can't ignore the fact that Michael Schumacher won 5
Yeah.
straight championships, and it did not
Yeah.
come without controversy whatsoever.
Well, that right now we're talking about the 2010s. They haven't won a title. They've literally gave it like they literally gave it. They literally walked over. Hey, here's the championship. That's what they did basically.
Their last championship was, and I think in 2007 we still had a lot of the same people, or at least the
Yeah.
remains of what Michael Schumacher had in the team. I think since 2010, a lot has changed at Ferrari, and a lot of it just hasn't worked.
Yeah. It's also they've also built sometimes they built cars which didn't work at all. This year was a good example of the car that I don't know what they were trying to because people are wondering why is Mercedes fast? Mercedes, they upgraded everything. They thought Ferrari was going to have a fast car. They did not expect to see that car rolled out and being slow. Like they're literally 0.8 slower than last year. Almost a good second slower. And they're
So-
like,
So one thing I want to say though is Mercedes was ahead of everybody else right
Yeah.
from the get-go of the new engine regulations, and
Yeah.
some say there are theories that they had been developing that engine
yeah,
right from the word of mouth that regulation was going to go into effect,
yeah,
meaning that they already had a jump over everyone else,
yeah,
so nobody would have been able to touch him anyway.
yeah,
Now Ferrari, again, I think this was a situation where they were back, they were further back right from the get-go, and it's just very hard. In Formula One, it's very hard to overcome any kind of deficit at all
yeah.
because it's so competitive.
Well, you guys made some good points about the Tuscan Grand Prix. There's still
It was
plenty
a
of
good race.
races remaining. We got we have 8 more. Round 10 will be obviously the Russian Grand Prix at Sochi. What kind of action will happen there? Who knows?
This will be the field racing. The Mercedes running away. It's probably gonna be just Lewis ahead, Bottas following him, and the rest of the field battling with Ferrari trying to get points. It's probably gonna be that.
All
Surprisingly,
right.
it was a points
But
day
there
for
you
Ferrari
go.
yesterday.
I honestly never knew Ferrari would stoop down to fighting for points.
Yeah, and like, do you want to know what Vettel even said after Q1?
neither.
Vettel actually asked his engineer, "Did we make it through Q1?" He didn't even know he was made it to Q1. He thought he was. He didn't even think he made it to Q2. He's like, "Did we make it?" And the engineer said yes. He's like, "Okay." That's how bad the car is.
Yeah, and I think again, a point I made before on my break from Cam, I think Vettel again is very frustrated with the lack of chemistry at Ferrari, and it's showing on track. I think if it weren't for that, Vettel would be doing a lot better, probably midfield or higher. But again, I mean, there's just a lot of problems at Ferrari.
Yeah. Let's talk some Formula 2. Now, Justin, you and I, we covered the Formula 2 events this past weekend at Mugello Circuit for week 9 of 12, and they were eventful. The feature race was eventful just as much as the sprint race was, but let's get into the feature race.
Yeah.
Nikita Mazepin, the Russian driver, has just put on another clinic in the Formula 2 championship by winning the feature race and really claiming some valuable points. Luca Giotto finished second. Louis Delatraz came home third with the fastest lap. Even though Guanyu Zhou had the fastest lap, you have to finish in a points-paying position to be credited with the fastest lap and that extra point. So Delatraz gets third. Speaking of Delatraz, we'll see him at Le Mans this upcoming weekend. Filip Drugovich finished in fourth. Mick Schumacher, you're going to get used to that name, Mick Schumacher, finished in fifth. Christian Lundgaard, who scored the pole position, finished sixth. Yuri Vips, get used to that name as well. Driving for the injured Sean Galal, seventh place. Artem Markelov in eighth. Marcus Armstrong, ninth, and Jan Drovola finished in 10th. The sprint race.
The race that Luca Giotto was pissed off at. They're both Russian drivers that are in the field. That race.
Christian Lundgaard, likewise the pole position. Fastest lap, finished first. In second, Louis Delatraz. Yuri Vips. How about Yuri Vips? His first podium.
Yeah.
Just his second week.
Yeah. He's run at Spa and Monza are his only two races in F2. Like 2 weeks of F2. Because Sean Galal's back injury. That's like impressive. Like he's usually you expect only Dan Ticktum to do that, but his races there were bad, which he was quite angry on the radio during the whole weekend.
Understandably so.
Yeah.
Mick Schumacher fourth. This fourth place finish was enough to put him in the points lead. We'll get into that in a little bit. Guanyu Zhou in fifth. Callum Ilott sixth. Ilott dropped big time in points. Jan Daruvala in seventh, and Marino Sato, no relation to Takuma Sato, finished in the eighth spot, which was the last points position.
It's also his first point in his F2 career.
Well done for him. The Drivers' Championship goes to Mick Schumacher. Yes, the son of the 7-time world champion, Michael Schumacher, is in the points lead. He's got 161 points in the championship over Callum Ilott with 153 points. Ilott loses the points lead. Christian Lundgaard is third with 145 points. Robert Schwartzman drops down to fourth in the points with 140 points. And fifth is Nikita Mazepin with 127 points.
Yeah, and yep.
The team's championship is Prema Racing with 301 points scored so far over Unai Bertozzi Racing with 261 points, iTech Grand Prix third with 216 points, ARC Grand Prix fourth with 181 points, and Carlin is fifth with 149 points. They will be back for Sochi. The Sochi round will be week 10 of 12 in 2 weeks' time. All right. Formula 3 the FIA Formula 3 World Championship, because there are multiple Formula 3 championships going on in the world, but the FIA sanctioned Formula 3 World Championship
the final round
at Mugello. And we're going to talk a little bit about this. Bestie won race 1. Race 2 was Liam Lawson. The final standings, Oscar Piastri stole the championship over Logan Sargent.
Boucher got second. Logan Sargent fell down to P3 after him and Liam Zendelli made contact in the turn 1 on the first lap.
Yeah, that was a very big surprise and a shock to a lot of fans that, the final race of the season would go down into lap 1, turn 1 contact, but that's what Grand Prix racing is in the end. The most important lap of the race is the first lap.
Yeah.
And Premier Racing won.
Apologies, I interrupted.
No, go ahead.
Some would disagree with that, though. The old saying is you don't win a race in turn 1.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on, Joe.
With that said, the final standings for the Formula 3 Championship, the FIA Formula 3 Championship, Oscar Piastri, 164 points. Theo Puchar, 161 points in second. Logan Sargent from Boca Raton, Florida, who could possibly be the next best American F1 driver that's not been an F1 champion from America since Mario Andretti in 42 years. Third with 160 points. He's 4 points separate the top 3 in the championship. That's some numbers.
And they don't need playoffs. They don't need playoffs to get good racing. Like, people complained about Nick DeVries last year clinching the title. Yeah, 4 points between the top 3 and there's no playoffs like that. Like, that was a really good tight championship.
Absolutely, but we can't make too many.
Yeah.
We can't do too much comparing to NASCAR.
Yeah.
As we love to, as Americans, we love to compare NASCAR and Formula 1. It's really not comparable. They're completely different forms of motorsport.
Yeah. You have open wheel cars to stock cars. Their cars don't handle the same, obviously.
All right, 4th place in the championship was Frederick Vesti with 146.5 points, and Liam Lawson 5th with 143 points. He did win the final race of the season. Now, the team's championship went to Prema Racing with 470.5 points over Trinit with 261.5 points.
Yep.
ARC Grand Prix 3rd, 251 points. High Tech Grand Prix 4th with 167 points. And in 5th, HWA Race Lab 5th with 138.5 points in the championship. So that's the end of the FIA Formula 3 championship for 2020.
Yep.
And let's go ahead and talk some IndyCar.
Yep.
Yes.
Hope Ian got out of the seat for that one.
Yep. I wonder what happened to race 1.
What is that you got there, Ian?
Oh,
Will
this is
Power.
Will Power's 2018 Indy 500 win car.
Very nice.
Thank you. So I wonder what happened to race 1.
Well, race 1, of course, the Mid-Ohio 200 was 2 races, rounds 10 and 11 of 14. Race 1 at Mid-Ohio. And we'll talk about race 2. Race 1 was won by Will Power.
Yeah.
Will Power, yes, Ian, your favorite driver, picked up his 38th career win after leading 66 laps. That's most laps led for Will Power. From the pole. And they sound like a lot of championship points, but unfortunately, that might not be Power's year. He is 5th in points. We'll get into that a little bit.
No.
And if you look at Will Power,
Dixon has in the bag. I know Power's not going to get it. It's fine.
It
But
was
he
so
won a race.
We all know it's
That's all
Scott
I
Dixon,
wanted.
so just give it to him already.
Well,
we
Dixon-
still have 3 races.
Dixon lost points. Actually, he actually did
We're
lose some points.
It's not going to make
gap.
a zero
Right,
difference.
right.
It's not. It's
Right,
making
right,
it as
right.
things zero
Well-
difference. Right there.
Well. How about we could tell Rosenquist Ericsson, wreck him, and Newgarden wins every race. That will
Please.
help it.
Please, let's please.
Yeah, that's the only way. Yeah.
We got another willpower fan right there.
No, I am a Newgarden fan. I want Newgarden.
Okay, that's still
Oh,
good.
shit, who?
I want him to get that 3rd championship.
Oh.
We're shrinking that gap just a little bit more, but gonna need some bad luck to start happening to that 9 team for to have a shot. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we all agree, Joseph. You lost control. You lost control now.
all right. Joseph Newgarden finished in 2nd. Now, I want to mention Will Power's win continues his streak of 14 seasons with at least 1 win. Dating back to 2007. He's won a race in 2007, 2008, 2009, all the way at least 1 race every year up to today. So that record continues. Joseph Newgarden finished in 2nd after starting 3rd.
That's what's
It's
making
33rd
me have the smile of the
career podium. Alexander Rossi, 3rd, led 5 laps. He needed this run. His 21st career podium, first of the season. Rossi started 6th. Graham Rahal finished in 4th after starting in the 8th spot. Ryan Hunter-Reay finished 5th after starting 2nd. Felix Rosenquist came home, he's 6th. Jack Harvey finished 7th. Rinus VK 8th. Colton Herta, who led 4 laps, finished in the 9th spot. Scott Dixon managed to bring it home in the top 10. In 11th place, Pato O'Ward, who had the fastest lap after starting 15th. Race 2. And this is where I want to bring Daniel Ford in the podcast. So, fortunately, we can only add 6 people on stream.
Well, we don't have the.
Where's-
It's because of the what is it called?
Their little upgrade.
No, it's called. It's called. We need the basic and professional plan, not the free plan. That's what it's called according to StreamYard.
Then I guess their little email saying, guess what? 10 people can now join the StreamYard.
They
I guess
basically.
it only sounded like a nice little thing, like, what do you call it? Apple hanging off the tree, low-hanging fruit.
Well, remember, Joseph. Remember what happened that one time when this podcast, me and you, the podcast wouldn't end, and we were here an extra 15 minutes. I actually messaged StreamYard to help us.
I think we should still make amends with StreamYard. That's just where I'm going.
It's better than remember Google Hangouts, Joseph, with the podcast before.
you could. I mean, you could try Zoom. You might have to download OBS though to make that work.
That is true.
All FYI.
Yeah, because we used to use Google Hangouts, in which I had to create 5 accounts. Like, one account wouldn't work, so I swapped accounts every podcast, which was, like, annoying.
That was
Yeah.
absolutely
Man,
horrid.
that's terrible.
Anyways,
Yeah.
that's enough about that.
All right, so let's talk about race 2. Colton Herta, who led 57 laps from the pole, getting the extra points for leading the most laps, scored his 3rd career win, his 3rd career podium.
Yep.
He's 3 for 3. All his podiums are wins.
Wow.
It's honestly good though to see Colton Herta finally get that win this year. I mean, this is honestly just been an off year for it. This has been an off year for Colton, and I mean last year he was top 5 in points, and in his rookie season scored 2 wins, but But this year it's you know, it's a little bit of a sophomore slump. But you know, he's mostly been quiet this year. But
Yeah.
it was pretty nice to see him finally get that first win yesterday.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this was a very important race for Andretti Autosport. They were just on a, as Emperor Lemon says on YouTube, on a downward spiral. Now they get a podium sweep. It's the first time since 1985 or 95 when this happened. All right, hey, Danny's coming in.
Unfortunately, Joe, I don't have that. Does anybody else have that info?
What info?
That what?
First podium sweep since when for Andretti?
I don't know.
I think it's 1995 or 1980. No, Andretti wasn't even around in 95. It was Team Green at the time.
No.
The thing with
Checking.
stats for American Championship Car Racing, you have to really dig through.
I'm checking. Joseph, you were wrong. 2005, St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
That was the last time.
Oh.
And the first time they
That
went
explains
there,
why
IndyCar, and
It
they'll go
was,
there for the final race this season.
I'm checking who it was on that podium. I'm trying to figure out who it was. Oh, it was Dan Weldon, Tony Kanaan. It was actually a 1 through 4. The 4 cars, like they had on the podium was Weldon, Kanaan, and Franchitti. Brian Herta got 4th.
Oh.
Yeah, they were.
Wait,
It
Brian
was since
Herta got
2005.
fourth?
Yeah.
Brian Herta, got 4th place.
Not bad.
So so it's been since 15 years ago since that happened.
Wow.
By the way,
40
Ian
years-
Press 48
No.
had to go. And he'd like to say thank you. Yes. Thank Ian for coming. Joining the podcast. Subscribe to Ian Press 48 on YouTube. All right. So, yeah, of course, my math was wrong. I forgot that easily sweep podiums in the Indy Racing League.
It's
Yeah,
a
but-
it's a podcast. Anything goes on a podcast.
It's-
Okay, it's all
yeah.
free game.
Well, it's
We
also
all make mistakes.
like Joseph thinking. I remember we had an IndyCar discussion, me and Joseph. He said, instead of saying St. Petersburg's the opening round, he said Singapore, which was interesting.
Okay. But yeah, about Andretti. Podium sweep. Alexander Rossi finished second. His 22nd career podium. Rossi started 10th, and third was Ryan Hunter-Reay, who started 8th, and that was Hunter-Reay's 47th career podium. Andretti's podium swap. 4th place, Graham Rahal, the hometown favorite.
Yep.
Rahal led 1 lap, started 12th. Marcus Ericsson finished 5th after leading 1 lap and started 15th. Simon Pagenaud finished 16th.
16th.
No, he finished
No,
6th, I believe.
6th after
yesterday.
starting.
Oh my
I was about to
god.
say,
Oh my god!
I never knew that you go from 5th to 16th. I never knew the order was like that.
Yeah, that's what
Five
happened.
hours.
Scott Dixon and wait, what?
5 Hour Energy, please sponsor me.
No, what were you
You gotta
saying,
get stuff
Austin?
done.
What were you saying, Austin?
Okay, continue, Joseph. We don't need to talk about that right now. We're still talking about race 1. We haven't got to race 2 yet.
No,
We are at race 2.
we are in
right now.
race 2.
Yeah. Will Power finished 7th. 8th place, Joseph Newgarden. Power Award 9th. Scott Dixon, who had the fastest lap and a spin earlier in the race,
I was
bounced back for a 10th place finish.
I was really hoping he was gonna wreck it. Ah.
Oh god, man. Well, luckily I was at work, so I didn't get to catch all of that melee.
I was working. I missed the race because I was working on
I
the
was
deck.
smiling. Wait, what?
Of course you were, Austin.
I was working on a deck. I was at my uncle's house working on a deck, so I didn't see it. Yeah, I was. I had to fix the deck. It was broken.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said dick. Wait, what?
No.
Oh,
Come on, man.
Oh my.
NSFW, bro.
We
NSFW,
apologize for
bro.
that
Come on.
What the hell? I don't know.
Yeah, I
Yet
think we've.
another
I think it's.
screen
I think Austin. That's enough for Austin today. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was very unprofessional.
Very
He's-
unprofessional.
He says I talk a lot.
You know, listen. Come on the podcast.
You gotta
know-
keep it professional, man.
You got to
Yeah.
keep it 100.
Yeah, like
In all seriousness, yes.
yeah.
yeah, because there's some viewers.
You know,
But-
here's the thing. I mean, we're on a live audience.
Yeah,
Whether- Whether Austin wants to cooperate with the fact that we're not on a group call, that's up to him.
no,
I mean,
on
he can go
Skype.
ahead and
Yeah, like on
grab some
Skype,
dinner
nobody. Yeah, like on
listen to
Skype,
the music and call it a night.
like
This
this.
isn't
No,
Skype.
like on Skype, nobody. There's no people recording the Skype call for no apparent reason. Nobody does that because that would be kind of weird. But like here, we don't know there's some people here we don't know how old they are. Some could be older, some could be young.
And
don't
also the
wanna-
fact that we want to have a mature audience there, and this is supposed to be a racing discussion.
Absolutely.
All right.
Anyways, I think we touched on that enough.
So yeah, the next race for IndyCar will be the Harvest Grand Prix at Indy for rounds 12 and 13. That's on the 2nd of October.
Yeah,
Point standings:
You got a
Scott
long
Dixon,
break.
Yeah.
You got a long break.
Wait, the Harvest what?
456.
I thought it was
456 points. for
69.
Scott Dixon.
No, wait, no. Oh, wait. The gap, I think, is like 70 something. If I'm not
Yeah,
It can hit hundreds in a few races if Dixon keeps on the.
better not happen.
hopefully
Yeah,
Newgarden just has to fit. Hopefully Newgarden just somehow wins, and Dixon gets like 20th.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough if we're gonna pull off this miracle. But honestly,
Yeah.
I think if we're being really truthful here, I think honestly Scott Dixon has this championship on lock. I mean, I think
Yes.
if he just has, if he just stays consistent as as he is. I mean, he was furious yesterday after that spin. He was not
charging,
happy, dude. He was charging at the end. He was not going to be denied losing that many points. So
Yeah, he was not happy. But
As
then
we
again-
know, go ahead.
Yeah, then again, speaking of what Brendan was saying, he came back. He came back strong. From what I heard, from the replays I watched, he came back very strong. So
Yeah.
go ahead, Blake.
But as I was about to say, as we know, with Scott Dixon, when he's good and he's got a solid car, he's a powerhouse. We all know this. We've all seen his previous success. When he's good, he's a powerhouse.
He is a powerhouse. Joseph Newgarden, 384 points. I mean, he's got to make up. He's going to need the perfect podiums and wins at this point. Pato Award, not far back. Award has 338 points. Colton Herta is fourth, 327 points. Will Power is fifth, 306. Graham Rahal, sixth with 301 points. Takuma Sato, seventh with 300 points. Simon Pagenaud.
Wow. I mean,
I wasn't expecting Colton Herta to be in the top 5 in points, and yet he's having an off year. I mean, I don't know if that's just I don't know if there's something else I wasn't catching on or any of that, but honestly, really the biggest surprise of this year really has to be Pato O'Ward. He's had a couple shots at stealing some wins this year. I mean he's really not in the best equipment that you could possibly, he's not in like Penske or Chip Ganassi equipment. He's doing really well for the stuff he's in.
Yeah.
Very. I've been surprised at his what's the word? His performance this year.
All right, well, let's go on and talk about MotoGP. For the San Marino Grand Prix, was race 7. Franco Morbidelli gets his first ever MotoGP victory.
Are you gonna update the headline there?
Oh yeah, let me do that. So Blake, I know you have a lot more knowledge than I do about MotoGP. So your take about the event.
Honestly, this season I actually haven't been following MotoGP very much. I haven't watched the last race. I've been more following IMSA and Formula One more than MotoGP. But yes, I guess I really can't say much.
Yeah, neither can I. I really haven't been following MotoGP as religiously as Formula One and IndyCar and all these other series.
I've seen a few races here and there, but I really can't put my finger on it. I haven't followed it too closely enough to see what is going on.
I have the race classification.
Although I've heard of some famous riders and everything like Marquez and Rossi and everybody else. I don't really follow MotoGP like that. But also I've only watched the race yesterday, so that was just my first time.
Yes, Franco Morbidelli got the win over Francesco Bagnaia. That's his last name. I can't pronounce it. Johan Mir, third.
Vignale, I believe.
Valentino Rossi, Alex Rins, Maverick Vinales, Andrea Dovizioso, Jack Miller, Takaki Nakagami, Paul Espargaro, Miguel Oliveira, Brad Binder, Alex Espargaro, and Akir Lacuna, as well as Johan Zarco, were the points finishers in the race. The rider standings after this event is now Andrea Dovizioso with 76 points. He's taken the points lead over Fabio Quartararo, who suffered a retirement in the San Marino Grand Prix. It's actually the first of 2 events at Misano. They'll be back next week. Go on, Blake.
So this season, from what I have seen, and clearly shown in the points, Dovizioso has clearly just been just unstoppable this season. Absolutely at his best.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just a little out there. 6 points separate the top 2 in the rider standings. Jack Miller is third with 64 points. Johan Mir is fourth with 60 points, and Maverick Vinales is 158 points. They actually tied with Valentino Rossi. The team standings, Petronas Yamaha SRT with 127 points, or 127 points in second is Maserati Yamaha MotoGP, 116 points. Michelin Ducati team with 101 points, and Team Suzuki X-Star with 100 points. With 97 points is Pramac Racing. Manufacturer standings, Yamaha leads that with 113 points compared to Ducati. Ducati has 107. KTM is third with 88 points. Suzuki fourth with 83 points. Honda fifth with 54 points. And Aprilia, that's how you say it, sixth, they have 23 points. I'll be back. It's the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Same track in Misano, the circuit named after the late Marco Simoncelli, who was tragically killed in a MotoGP accident 9 years ago at the Malaysian Grand Prix. So yeah, there's that. Stocks ARCA. In the ARCA series. So this is interesting. The ARCA Menard series and the ARCA Menard series East had a combination race where the championship points counted on both divisions respectively.
Yeah.
So as for the ARCA series, the main ARCA Menard series, Toledo 200 was round 15 of 20. As for the ARCA Menard series East, this was round 4 of 6. Sam Mayer is the mayor of Toledo. He's led 165 laps, 3 for 3 in all Toledo events this year. Chandler Smith second with 35 laps, led Ty Gibbs third, Brett Holmes fourth, and Taylor Gray rounded out the top 5. As for ARCA points, Brett Holmes now has a 2-point lead over Michael Self. Brett Holmes is 698 points. Michael Self at 696 points in third. Haley Deegan with 649 points. Drew Dollar is fourth with 636 points. And with 499 points in fifth is Chad Moffitt.
Yeah.
So with that said, the ARCA East points.
Yeah, Sam Mayer is still leading that by 21, 187 to 166. Still Sam Mayer leading that series.
I don't really know much about ARCA. Can you give me an idea how much of a gap that is? Like, is that close, or is that?
That is close for a gap.
It actually is close, yeah.
Like 21 for the ARCA East is close, but it's not like NASCAR where there's playoffs. Like 2 points for the main ARCA series, that is really close. Like that's a really close gap. Like those gaps, like even I say 50 points. Like 40 to 50 is still quite close, also for points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it is a close championship. Michael Self and Brett Holmes are just are always. It's always like Michael Self. Oh, next race he's a step further, and then the next race, Brett Holmes just catches him. So the ARCA Championship is going to go down to the final race at Kansas.
Yeah, well, the next race. I forgot to mention the ARCA East points. Sam Mayer has 187 points over or compared to Ty Gibbs. Now Ty Gibbs is second, who has 166 points. Parker Retzlaff third, 146 points. And fourth, Nick Sanchez with 141 points. And Chase Cabre fifth, 139 points.
Yeah.
Bristol will be next.
They have another combo race for the ARCA East and National ARCA Series. They have a combo, so both divisions will get points again.
Right. For ARCA, that'll be round 16 of 20. For the ARCA East, there'll be round 5 of 6.
Yep.
That's going to be a fun race. Bristol will never disappoint.
Yep.
All right. Whelen Modified Tour had the crown jewel race of this season, the Musket 200 at New Hampshire. And it was won by Bobby Santos III. Santos led 24 laps en route to victory over Justin Bonsignor, who led 53 laps. Ron Silk, Anthony Nocella, 3rd and 4th. Craig Lutz, who led 6 laps, finished in 5th. Andy Seiss led 30 laps to finish in the 6th spot. Swanson finished 7th. Swanson led 39 laps. John McKennedy led 71 laps to finish and finished 8th. There's a lot of lap leaders in New Hampshire because the cars are air dependent due to the low speeds at the Magic Mile.
Yeah.
Patrick Emmerling led 14 laps and finished 11th. And Chase Dowling. I don't even know his first name. Chase or Connor Dowling.
It's Chase.
Yeah.
Chase Dowling. Which do you want to know what's funny about Chase Dowling's car? He was a Chevy. Guess what is the name of the owner? Ben Dodge. His last name was Dodge and a Chevy. But it's like that. Because I don't have track pass because I'm in Canada. I was looking at the live timing. I'm like, okay, oh geez. It's like I'm looking at the gap. It's big and then it's small. It just swapped back and forth. It's like, wow. And I also saw some clips of people crashing, like Woody Pitcat, who broke a suspension. And usually you don't expect crashes on the first lap. Melissa Feifeld crashed on lap 1. She didn't even complete the first lap and end up wrecking, which is a little bit embarrassing. A little bit.
All right. The points standings, it's still Justin Bonsinger. He's at 309 points. In second, Doug Colby with 282 points. Third place, John McKennedy, 270 points. Craig Lutz is in fourth with 264 points and 20 points back in fifth with 244 points. Dave Sapienza. And next race will be the 27th of September at Stafford for the penultimate race of the season, 8 of 9.
Yep.
All right, that said, let's go ahead and preview some of the events. We have a lot to talk about here at the Cup Series. Well, the night race at Bristol, which is round 29 of 36 for the ending of the round of 16, race 3 of 3 in the round of 16 for the playoffs. NASCAR Xfinity Series will race at Bristol for the regular season finale. Round 26 of 33. And the Truck Series will have round 17 of 23 for the first race of the round of 10 in the NASCAR Gander and RV's Truck Series Playoffs for race 1 of 3 in the round of 10. Supercars will be back for the Ben Super Sprint Part 1. They have 2 parts. Part 1 is this weekend. Part 2 is next weekend. Week 9 of 11, rounds 25, 26, and 27 of 31. And the FIA World Endurance Championship has the crown jewel event, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the 88th edition of this classic endurance race. Will be race 7 of 8 in the FIA World Endurance Championship. We're going to get into each and every one of these events, but let's start with NASCAR, Bristol. What comes to mind when you think Bristol and NASCAR?
The first thing that comes into mind. Well, first off, congratulations to the 30,000 fans that will be in attendance for that race. Because honestly, Bristol and the fans, I think, honestly, is what makes Bristol such a special place to, such a special track to not only watch the race but actually be there in person. It's actually on my bucket list. I've been wanting to go to Bristol for quite a long time because I've seen all the other YouTubers posting their vlogs and everything. The atmosphere is just absolutely electric over there, and honestly, Bristol short track racing. I mean, it used to be one group back then, but now all of a sudden now you can run the bottom, you can run the middle, you can run the top. You got so many lanes to choose from. You got so many lanes to choose from. That's what I definitely love about the Bristol of now. You have so many options to choose from to set up your passes and everything, and it's just action all around the track. It's not just it's action just overall all around the track. It's not like It's not like it's not like they zoom by and then you got to wait a little bit before they come again. You basically have action throughout most of the facility.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bristol is really like a bull ring, and it's like, I mean, you could say that about any short track, but especially Bristol. It's the most famous short track in NASCAR, and for good reason. It's a very tough track. Very, it's. I don't really know exactly how to put it. The banking is quite high for a short track. And
the place is a thundering atmosphere because the noise doesn't escape the way the stands are laid out. The noise can't travel away.
Yeah.
That's when people refer to NASCAR cars going by as thunder. It really is a thundering effect.
Yeah.
But
that's why it's called Thunder Valley. That's why it's Thunder Valley.
All right. So here's some facts about Bristol. Obviously, this is round 29 and 36. And for the playoffs, round of 16, race 3 of 3. So we'll close out the round of 16. And 4 drivers will no longer be eligible to win the championship after this race. This year's race was won by Brad Keselowski. Last year's race was won by Denny Hamlin. First race in 1961 was won by a pair of 2 drivers, Jack Smith and his relief driver, Johnny Allen. While Jack Smith, of course, started the car, his name goes in the record books. Most wins, without a doubt, Darrell Waltrip. Waltrip went on a tear in the 80s. I think he won 7 straight? 11 straight?
It was 7. He won 7
straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then let's go down the number of multiple winners here. Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace. Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Cale Yarborough have 9 wins each. Kyle Busch has 8 wins. He's the highest driver currently in the Cup Series when it comes to wins. He's the winningest current driver at Bristol over his brother Kurt. Kurt has 6 wins. Jeff Gordon and David Pearson have 5 wins each. Bobby Allison, Carl Edwards, and Matt Kenseth have 4 wins, respectively. Brad Keselowski, Fred Lorenzen, Richard Petty have 3 wins. And Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Alan Kowicki, Terry Labonte, Joey Logano, and Mark Martin have 2 wins. As for team wins for the night race of Bristol, the fall event, Junior Johnson and Associates lead that with 9 victories over Joe Gibbs Racing and Roush Fenway Racing with 7 wins each. Team Penske has 6 wins for the fall race of Bristol. Holman Mooney, 4 wins. Hendrick Motorsports with 3 victories. And then these 3 teams have 2 wins, respectively. Petty Enterprises, Richard Howard, and Stuart Haas Racing with 2 wins. As for manufacturers in the fall race, it is close. But Chevy holds the number with most wins. 21 total wins. 1 win over Ford. 20 wins for Ford at the night race of Bristol. Toyota has 6 victories. And then these manufacturers that are no longer in NASCAR, Dodge, Buick, and Pontiac 3 wins, and Oldsmobile with 1 win. So there are your fun facts. Present day 2020, who's going to win this weekend? Who's going to win this thriller?
Oh wait, so we just give win predictions.
Win predictions. Let's talk about the race. Where are we going to see?
Okay. I mean, I'll probably go first on this one. Bristol, and the fact that it's a round-ending event. Do not be shocked. Do not be shocked if there's going to be various strategies, and there's going to be some desperate moves made. Do not be shocked if there's going to be strategy and desperate moves involved, because with some of these drivers like the Benedetto, Blaney on the outside looking in, they're going to have to use that. They're going to have to use that bumper, and they're going to need every position that they can to hopefully solidify themselves in in the round of 12. William Byron, he's going to be an interesting case. I'm not sure if Byron has been statistically the best driver at Bristol. I mean, I'm not sure, Justin, if you can actually look that up for me.
He has an average finish of 17.2.
Yeah, I mean, Byron, he might be hit or miss. Cole Custer, I don't think he's I don't see him. I don't think I see him moving on either. Who else? To be honest with you, and this is kind of like my suck pick in a way. I mean, we might as well just give all of our suck picks in a way. This is my suck pick. I hate to do it to him, but honestly, he's been really disappointing over these past few races. And in the spring, he had an absolute. Oh my God, I don't even know what to tell you. He didn't even have speed whatsoever in the spring. I mean, granted, he did show something in the showdown, but All-Star race didn't mean anything either. And he had a really bad race in the spring. I'm sorry. I mean, Ward Brothers has just not been kind to Matt DiBenedetto. Matt DiBenedetto is my suck pick for this week. Wood Brothers equipment, it was just he really disappointed me in the spring, and this is really shocking too. Bristol is one of Matt DiBenedetto's best tracks.
Yeah,
but honestly, Wood Brothers, he's okay. Let me regather my thoughts. I'm sorry, Joe.
Go on there, Brandon.
Matt DiBenedetto, he has been giving away crucial points. Especially in the past 2 weeks. Look what happened at the Daytona Road Course. Honestly, I thought that was a race he actually could have gained some valuable points. Did not capitalize. Look what's happened in the first 2 races of the playoffs. Valuable points, and he's not earning them.
Yeah.
And honestly, judging by what happened in the spring, I just don't see Matt DiBenedetto moving on. I mean, as much as I want to see him get that, break that drought, finally get that first career win, I just don't think Matt DiBenedetto's Dibby is going to have a great weekend. I don't think it's happening.
I'm going to make something clear. If you can bring a BK racing car anywhere above 20th place, then you can do the same for any car.
Well, the thing is, if your car is tight.
Well, remember, Bristol is very handling dependent.
If you have a car entering the corners loose and tight off, well, that's not a good combination.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, because you don't want to be you're loose in and then tight off and then hits the wall, damage.
And also don't forget, I mean, if you get involved in a wreck, it's gonna definitely mess up your aero. That's which is also gonna affect the handling too. So
yeah, because Bristol,
the way I see it, Matt DiBenedetto and Ryan Blaney, they cannot get into any trouble whatsoever.
Yeah,
they cannot have any mishaps.
Like the thing about Bristol, you can catch lap traffic quickly. You catch lap traffic so fast. Like, I know they don't go that fast at Bristol in the corners. The back markers are still slow.
You also lose 2 laps on pit road, I believe.
Yeah.
During the green flag cycle.
Yeah, which basically, if you're there repairing damage, you might lose more than 2 laps. If you're there pulling on a fender, you might go like 3-4 laps behind the field.
Absolutely. It's very, very strategy dependent, aero dependent. Those are pretty much the key points to the race, is to keep a clean race, and have good strategy.
With
I
that,
mean, I just gave my suck pick. If you want to go ahead and ask and say who do you think might honestly miss out on the round of 12, I think you can say that. But the drivers I think that are not. I'll just go ahead and get my 4 drivers that'll be out of the way. I have Matt Benedetto. I have Cole Custer. I have William Byron, and oh man, honestly, this is a really bold prediction I'm going to make here, and he's only 18 points of the good. May I remind you, this driver's only 18 points of the good. So if he gets wrecked out, oh boy. That's good. That is going to be honestly the biggest shock of the playoffs. I got Kyle Busch eliminated from the round of. I got Kyle Busch eliminated. I think he is going to be knocked out.
I mean, it's not impossible.
It could happen because remember not last year in the night race, 2 years ago, he crashed on lap 3, recovered to get up front, cut a tire, and damaged the car massively and finished out of the race. Like, the thing is, Kyle Busch has, after his win in 2017 at Bristol in the night, he couldn't win. He did that in the spring race.
It just hasn't been good. The only time he shows up is in the spring.
Yeah, in the night, it's like he's not there. Like, you see, last year, how he got towards the front was he did a pit strategy, basically. That's how he was in front for a couple laps. Well, other than that, he was like 15th, 20th. So, and also, Kyle Busch has been lacking speed without practice.
Yeah, literally, practice and qualifying has ultimately affected Kyle Busch. I mean, unless you give him practice and qualifying, I don't think he's not fighting for wins. I mean, he did show at was it I keep forgetting Darlington. I think he failed post race inspection. Am I wrong?
He got the 2 missing lug nuts, so his crew chief got suspended for Richmond, which that didn't help at all. Having a new crew chief, and like Kyle Busch's only good performance was one of his worst tracks, Michigan. At Michigan, he literally did better than at tracks that he's usually good at. He did those 2 top 5s, Michigan, and he says he sucks there.
Well, I'm going to get my winner prediction here. His name is Kyle Busch.
You think?
Oh, really?
You'll think he'll win without a practice because he says he needs practice. That's what Kyle says. He says he needs. Well. Okay. My pick for the race. This driver.
I didn't get my winner prediction, but go ahead. Go ahead.
He has the most. He's tied for the most starts at Bristol with 39 starts. He has many wins here. He has this driver. He has 6 wins at Bristol. He has 6 wins. He won the race 2 years ago in the summer. Kurt Busch is going to win at Bristol.
I have Kyle. You have Kurt. You have Blue Jimmy.
Well, actually, I did my research for this one. Okay. Well. All right. Hold on a second. I'm pulling it up right. I'm pulling it up right here. But in 9 starts, This driver has had 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s, an average finish of 12.7. But he's been there. He's been close. He's been getting closer to that first win. Honestly, if he didn't full on send him, if he did not full on send him in the spring, I think he very well could have had a shot to finally get that first Bristol win. I'm going Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott is my pick for Saturday night's race. I think honestly Chase Elliott's been starting to get the hang of Bristol. He almost had a shot in the spring. Dominated the All-Star race. I think Chase Elliott. I think he's going to be in a pretty good spot for Saturday. As long as he stays away from the JGR cars, I think he'll have a shot.
Honestly, that's a very good prediction, and I think I may follow suit with that one, actually.
If Chase Elliott wins, it's going to be extremely popular. Or Matt DiBenedetto, same thing.
Well, it just depends if he doesn't run into trouble. Because
maybe Jimmy can win it too. We finished. We've done pretty well. We've done pretty good at Bristol over these past few races. Just FYI, but with the one exception of last year in the summer, which was oh my god, that was just
All right. With that said, let's go ahead and talk about some Xfinity Series action. It's the final race of the regular season. Seems like everybody's locked in, unless somehow, some way, a driver outside the top 12 surprises everyone. It's round 26.
It's.
Go ahead, Justin.
I was about to say, not everyone is locked in. Brendan Brown is still not locked in. Obviously, he's close to
because he's the only driver that's vulnerable of someone stealing his seat from winning.
Yeah, Jeremy Clements is right behind him. If Brendan Brown makes mistakes or crashes out, and somehow Clements gets.
Let me see that go. It's 40. Oh, it's 49 points.
Yeah.
I mean, really, Brandon Brown just has to start the race. I think honestly, that's if he just has a good first stage and everything, and gets some extra points.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be a lock for the last spot, and I think I actually do have him in my prediction. I think Brandon Brown he's gonna sneak his way in.
Yeah. All right. Beforehand, Austin LaPlante is back. We don't believe in cancel culture. He's here.
Welcome back, Austin.
He's mute. I think Austin's.
No, he's.
Jimmy Johnson. Big upsets.
So you're picking him for Bristol?
Specifically Cup. Xfinity, Austin Cindric. And you haven't done trucks yet, so we'll wait till that.
In the NASCAR Xfinity Series, I'm going to go with this driver. He won the last 2 races. He's going to win it again. Justin Allgaier is going to go 3 in a row at Bristol.
Okay.
It's not a bad pick either. I mean, I'll go ahead and get mine. I'll go ahead and get mine out of the way. I'm gonna pick Justin Allgaier too. He's actually really turned his he really has turned his season around. Especially from all the inconsistency. Honestly, I would have gone with Noah Gragson, but he kind of gets involved in like every single in an incident like every single week. I mean, he did wreck his teammate in the spring. Let's not forget that. I still remember that race, and And to add insult to injury, Noah Gragson went on to win that race. So, yeah, I was going to pick Noah Gragson, but honestly, he's got to cool it. Not just at Bristol, but I think just overall. I'm going to take a more safer route. I'm going to pick Justin Allgaier.
Okay, my pick. This driver. He has an average finish of 7.0. 2 starts here. He has 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 2 top 20s. His average starts third. This driver drives car number 20. Harrison Burns going to win at Bristol.
Not a bad choice.
It's an interesting pick.
All right. Let's move on to the NASCAR RV and Outdoors Truck Series playoff opener, the 17th round of the 23 race championship will be at Bristol. Last year's winner was Brett Moffitt, who's still knocking on the door at Victory Lane 2020, believe it or not. One of the better drivers in the season. First race was Joe Ruttman, who won the inaugural season, what was then the NASCAR Super Truck Series presented by Craftsman back in 1995. Only 2 drivers have more than 1 victory. Kyle Busch has the most wins at 5, and Ron Hornaday Jr. has 2 wins. As for team wins, Kyle Busch Motorsports and GMS Racing, 2 of the best active teams, tied for the most wins with 3 apiece. While Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, Roush Fenway Racing, Bill Davis Racing, Billy Balloon Motorsports, and Brad Keselowski Racing have 2 wins apiece. For manufacturers, Chevy has most wins at 9. Toyota has 1 less win behind Chevy with 8. And Ford has 5 victories. Obviously, this year, the playoffs start with 10 drivers. Who's going to win at Bristol? And if the driver is not a playoff driver, who's going to be the best playoff driver coming out of this thing?
Ooh. Hey, Joseph. My pick is a non-playoff driver. This driver, he has 1 start at Bristol, a top 5, a top 10, a top 20. He started 7th, finished 2nd last year. Driver of the number 51, Chandler Smith will get his first career win.
Chandler Smith.
He finished 2nd last year. He was close to win last year.
All right, I guess I'll go next. I'm going to be a little bit opposite here. I think a playoff driver will win this race. In 3 starts, he has 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, an impressive average finish of 6.3, and he's coming off a win. I think Thorsport is going to continue its momentum. I am going Grant Enfinger is going to get the win.
I'll go next. I think.
Yeah, you go next.
I'm going to go with Brett Moffitt.
Raphael Lassard.
Stuart Friesen.
I don't know about Friesen. I don't know. He's been not the best without practice or qualifying, but even before that, he didn't do good at Vegas. Like, if he can't be consistent, I don't know how Friesen's gonna do.
Best playoff driver is going to be Brett Moffitt.
I see that. I see Brett Moffitt being one of the best playoff drivers, but Friesen winning, I don't know about him, his speed.
I think we have everybody, their Truck Series picks.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Before we get into my favorite part of the podcast, I think, which is in the title, let's talk a little bit of supercars. They have the 9th week of the season at the Bend, Highland Bend, South Australia, for the Bend Super Sprint Part 1. Part 2 will be next weekend. This will be rounds 25 26 and 27 of 31. The only 2 races were ran as the series debuted in 2018. Shane Van Gisbergen won for Triple Eight Race Engineering and Holden. And last year it was Scott McLaughlin for DJR Team Penske and Ford. Let's just make this fair, easy and fair. Who will have the best average result for the weekend?
Supercars, I'm not that knowledge on.
Justin, I know you watch Supercars, so I'm
for me the best average this weekend, I think Shane Van Gisbergen. I feel like he'll have speed, and he's shown speed recently, so I feel like he'll carry that momentum into the Bend.
I'm honestly really not sure who to go with.
It's going to come down to the 2 best Kiwis, but Shane Van Gisbergen will prevail on this one over Scott McLaughlin. It's going to be close.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we're just going to move on and talk 24 Hours of Le Mans now.
Hey, Joseph, I sent the entry list for you in the chat.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. So the 24 Hours of Le Mans is considered by many to be the most prestigious endurance race in the world. This classic from France originated back in 1923 when automakers wanted to find which car could last the longest, could last a full 24 hours.
Yep.
And 107 years or 97 years later,
almost
100 years later, this race continues to be the classic it is. So obviously last year, the Toyota Gazoo Racing Bunch won overall. The first ever running of the event was it's called a poster called the Grand Prix Endurance 24 Hours Coupe Rouge Whitworth, which was French words, but it was something never seen before.
Yeah.
That's like a tongue twister and a half.
Yeah, I really tried to word that right. But the first race, obviously, was in 1923, and the 1923 race was won by 2 journeyman drivers in their car, Andre Lagache and René Leonard, driving a Chenard Walkler Type U3 15CV Sport. And guess how many laps it took for that race to go?
Well, the track was bigger back then.
Yeah, of course, less chicanes than.
I don't know.
128 laps.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It probably didn't exceed 50 miles an hour at that time either.
The car in second was 4 laps behind, and third place was 8 laps behind. That's how it was a big gap.
Yikes.
But yes, the track was also way, way bigger back then. It must have been like almost double the size. Something like that.
Yeah. But, like, the thing about Le Mans, there's been interesting races, but there's been interesting tales of Le Mans. One of them was 1953. Because that, like, in the 50s, like, basically before Ford versus Ferrari was Jaguar versus any manufacturer, basically. Like, 1953, I know the story of what happened in that race. Oh, something happened to Joseph.
I'm
Maybe-
here. I'm
nope.
here.
Okay.
I disconnected.
Okay, I was about to say, in 1953, the thing interesting about that race, the winners of the actual race were kicked out before. According to, I heard about they brought the spare car to test something, but the spare car had the same number as that Jaguar, so they were kicked out. But of all things to do, they thought there would have been no appeal. They basically had hungovers, which is actually true. This is a real story, and they ended up racing and won. Literally, I guess at one point in the race, the driver Duncan Hamilton, who was driving, hit a bird at 130 miles an hour. It hit his nose, and he didn't do anything about it. He just basically won. Yeah, that's an interesting story. Yep, 1953. That was an interesting.
Unfortunately, it wasn't all fun and games. 2 years after that was one of the darkest moments in motorsport history. When
the 50s were a dark time in motorsport.
Yep.
But
driver Pierre Leva.
You
guys hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
StreamYard's
like Justin said, there have been so many tales over the years at Le Mans. One of them being this year is the first year that Le Mans has been pushed back since 1968. 1968 was pushed back because of protests to the French government.
Yep.
And 1968 and 1969, literally the same chassis won both years. Albeit with different numbers, I believe.
Yeah. All right. So the records, are just astonishing. And now we're in the 88th edition of the race. I think that it's been, of course, the movie Ford versus Ferrari speaks miles about just the intense passion these people have to win Le Mans and how hard it is just physically, mentally, and just even financially to put everything together and have a successful program.
Yeah.
So that said, let's take a look at some of the records at Le Mans. For constructors, most wins with a Porsche, 19 wins, more than anyone else. Audi, 13 victories. Ferrari with 9. Jaguar with 7. Bentley with 6. Alfa Romeo and Ford, 4 wins each. Matra, Simca, Peugeot, 3 wins respectively. Peugeot, we'll talk a little bit about them and their return plans heading into the future. And then with 2 wins, Laurent, Dietrich, Bugatti, and Toyota. Toyota, of course, winning the last 2 events, breaking what was a near 20-year curse. And then these constructors have 1 win, Chenard and Locklear. Laguna, Delay, Taba, Lago, Mercedes-Benz, Aston Martin, Mirage, Renault Alpine. You're going to hear that name a lot more in the future, especially after their recent business decisions. Renault, Sauber, Mercedes, Mazda, McLaren, and BMW all have constructor victories for the 24 hours of Le Mans. Now, as for drivers, these drivers have 3 or more wins, including, of course, Tom Christensen, also known as Mr. Le Mans. 9 wins, more than any other driver, compared to Jackie Ickx. Jackie Ickx previously held that record He's considered by many to be the greatest Belgian driver of all time. Derek Bell, Frank Biella, Emmanuel Pirro, 5 wins for them. Olivier Ganemian, I said that right. Henry Pescarolo, Yannick Dalmau, 4 wins. And then these drivers here have 3 wins, including Wolf Barnato, Luigi Chinetti, Phil Hill, Hurley Haywood, Klaus Ludwig, Al Hulbert, Renato Capello, Marco Werner, Alan McNish, Andre Lauderer, Marcel Fasser, and Benoit Churlier. All right, moving down to some other records. Most wins by a car. Of course, the Audi R8 would hold that one.
Yep.
That car was so popular, they named their GT car the R8 after the legacy that the R8 LMP1 had on the racetrack. I guess
yes, a lot of people confuse that. A lot of people that aren't in the loop about Le Mans don't know that.
Yeah, I just find it fascinating, especially if you see the records in the 2000s. You had to be Audi, or you couldn't beat Audi. It just, I mean, I still have no words, but that was when I was a little young kid. I'm like, geez, Audi's 1-2 again. And, for a period in the 30s, the Alfa Romeo 8C 2300, one of the earliest sports coupes, had 4 wins, and of course the classic Ford GT40. We all knew what happened then in the mid to late 1960s. 4 wins for them. The Porsche 956 had 4 wins, and the Audi R18, which was actually the last Audi to win Le Mans, won 4 times from 2011 to 2014 consecutively. And then these cars had 3 wins. The Jaguar 3 Type from 1955 to 1957, that classic green color. I think they call it Goodwood green.
Yeah.
Goodwood green. Also, the Ferrari 250 TR won in 1958 as well as 1960 and 61. The Matra Simca MS670 had won 3 races in a row. The Porsche 936 won in the late 70s as well as 1981. This was kind of like a glance of what was to come for the Group C era. Now, the Group Cs, of course, they evolved around that time. This was during Group 6. The Audi R10 TDI was a diesel-powered car that won from 2006 to 2008, and the Porsche 919 Hybrid, the last Porsche to win overall from 2015 on to 2017. And then these cars had 2 wins, the Lorraine Dietrich B36 from 1925 to 1926, the Bentley Speed 6 from 29 to 30. That's, a car you can only consider to be in the museums at this point. The Bugatti Type 57, the Porsche 917, the 917K from 1970 to 1971. Yes, that car that Steve McQueen also helped make famous. Just astonishing. You think of Le Mans, that car usually is up on the pictures inside of any Porsche dealership you walk inside of, as well as the Porsche 962.
That car, the silhouette of it just screams 70s prototype. Absolutely. It's the first thing I think of when I think of 70s sports car racing. Absolutely astonishing car. Absolutely astonishing story.
Yes. The Peugeot 905 had 2 wins in the early 90s. It was kind of interesting. A lot of people overlook the Peugeot 905. I think it deserves more recognition from their wins in 1992 and 1993. The Porsche WSC 95, very, very underrated car. This was made by Tom Walkinshaw, who was one of the motorsport's greatest builders in his time.
Now that car, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So just a little interesting tidbit there. There was IMSA at the time in the late 90s and before it became the American Le Mans Series, it was the Camel GT Championship. A lot of the prototypes that raced in IMSA also raced at Le Mans. Even though the regulations were slightly different, a lot of them fit the regulations at Le Mans. So the WSC was a moniker that IMSA used for their top prototype, which was a World Sports Car.
Yeah,
So
they won in 1996. In 1997.
That would explain the WSC in the name.
And of course, last but not least, the recent car that joined that list of multiple winners, the Toyota TS050 Hybrid, that has won the last 2 years. And they just, that car, it's just a gem, I think. If you look at it. Most wins for a team, Yost Racing with 13 wins over the Porsche factory team that has 12 wins. Scuderia Ferrari, 7 victories. Of course, just before Ford stole their throne in 1966. Jaguar, 4 victories, including 1959 when a young American by the name of Carroll Shelby said enough's enough with his driving career. Yeah. Not after that win in Le Mans in 1959, of course. Bentley Motors with our Jaguar with 5 wins, Bentley Motors with 4 victories, Matra Sports and Peugeot Sport 3 wins respectively. Ikuri Ekose, if I said that name right, 2 victories from 56 to 57. Shelby American Incorporated from 66 to 67. John Weiler Automotive Engineering 1968 to 1969. Of course, the last 2 years, Toyota Gazoo Racing joins the club for multiple winners by a team. And let's go back to driver statistics here. Actually, no, before we go there, country victories for constructors. For 4 different constructors, Germany has a total of 34 wins at Le Mans. For 6 different constructors that from the UK, they have a total of 17 wins at Le Mans. France, with 9 different constructors, has a total of 15 wins. Actually, UK has 17 wins. France has 15 wins. Italy, with 2 different constructors, Ferrari and Alfa Romeo, have 13 wins. 2 different constructors equal 4 wins for American 4 American victories in total. As for Japan, 2 different teams total 3 wins, and Switzerland has their lone win from Sauber Mercedes. Tire victories: Dunlop 34, Michelin 28, 14 Goodyear. Engelbert 13. Or 5 wins, 3 wins for Firestone, 1 win for Continental, Pirelli, and Albon. For countries, as for winning drivers, for like different amount of winning drivers from a single nation, 30 different British drivers have won the 24 hours of Le Mans.
Wow.
Compared to France with 29 different drivers to win. 19 different drivers from Germany have won Le Mans. 12 different American drivers. 11 different Italian drivers. 5 different Belgian drivers. And then 4 different drivers from these countries: Australia, New Zealand, Switzerland, and Japan. And then 3 different drivers from Austria, Spain, Denmark, 2 Netherlands with 2 drivers, Sweden with 2 drivers, and then 1 driver from these countries: Argentina, Canada, Finland, Mexico. Can you believe all these numbers? Only 1 driver from Canada has won the 24 hours of Le Mans.
Woohoo!
I think
I'm confused.
Who
I don't.
was that?
Was it Paul Dallalana?
Let me check. I'm checking.
I know Justin. Justin's like
I'm confused.
he's enthused by this. All
I
right.
have not heard of a Canadian driver
Oh,
winning
I
the
found it. Found it. John Duff
What year?
in 1924.
Wow.
John
wow.
Duff. I never knew that Canadian won Le Mans.
And these are all overall wins.
Yeah, he won it overall. He was the overall winner in 24. Interesting.
Now, as for the country that has the most wins when it comes to drivers, not how many drivers won, but the most wins for a driver by country, France, 43 at home, over 42 from the UK, 42 driver wins from the UK, 31 German wins, 18 American wins, as well as 18 Italian wins, 13 Belgian victories, 10 wins from Denmark. So I bet you guys wonder who has won 9 of them. Very easy, Tom Christensen.
Yep.
5 drivers from New Zealand, 2 of which have recently been from Earl Bamber, from when the Porsche had their 919 hybrid.
Yeah.
Switzerland, 5 different 5 wins total by Swiss drivers. 4 from Austria and Australia, 3 from the Netherlands, 3 from Japan, 2 from Finland, Sweden, and Spain, and 1 from Argentina, Canada, and Mexico. I wonder who that lone Mexican and Argentine drivers that they were.
I know Canada's John Duff.
Was Fangio the Argentine driver?
Yeah. Fangio's from Argentina.
I know, but was it him that won for Argentina?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, just you guys do the research in the live chat.
I'm checking.
And let's get into pole positions by a constructor. 19 poles, and now, mind you, qualifying for the 24 Hours of Le Mans was first recorded in 1963. So those are the stats we have. 19 pole position from Porsche, very much like the amount of wins they have. 8 from Audi, 8 from Peugeot, 3 from Toyota, or actually 5 from Toyota, 3 from Ferrari and Ford. 2 wins from Matra Simca, 2 poles from Matra Simca, 2 poles from Renault, 2 poles from Sauber Mercedes, and 1 pole from Mirage, Lancia, Nissan, Courage, Velter Racing, Mercedes, Bentley, and Pescarolo. I'm astonished just reading the records that they have. But let's get into this year's race. Who's in this year's event?
Joseph, I wanted to say it was not Juan Manuel Fangio, the Argentine winner. Jose Frolian Gonzalez. He was the Argentine winner that won at Le Mans in 1954.
So Frolian Gonzalez. Didn't he race Formula One at the same time?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. Nobody looked at him much because he was overshadowed. Like, they were more focusing on his countryman, Juan Manuel Fangio. But he was pretty good in F1 also. Yeah.
All right. So that said, let's just look at who's in this year's race. The LMP1 class, which will most likely contend for the overall win, has only 5 entries.
Yep.
2 rebellions, 1 Baikals Racing Team entry, and 2 factory Toyota Gazoo Racing hybrids.
Well, there was 6. I guess Team LNT pulled out. They were supposed to be running, but they pulled out, so there's only 5 now. LMP2 has more cars in their class. 24 cars in the LMP2 class.
Yes, and chassis come from the likes of Ligier, Araris, Oreca, Gibson, Alpine, Dallara.
Yeah. Okay, LMGT Pro, only 8 in that class. They have 2 AF Corsas, WeatherTech Racing, Rizzi Competition, 2 Porsches and 2 Aston Martin Racings in the GT Pro class. GT AM has 22 cars for that class.
Yes, and they have most of them are Ferraris and Porsches. For the Ferrari 48 GT Evo and the Porsche 911 RSRs.
Yeah,
but
there's only
you do
2
have
Aston Martin.
2 Aston Martins.
The number 90 TF Sport and the Aston Martin number 98.
Okay, we're going to do this class by class. A lot of teams have withdrew from the 24 Hours of Le Mans, understandably so, because of the nature of 2020 and the schedule changes and all that. But we can go on and on. We already talked about that in the podcast before in the spring, but who's out, but who's in. Let's make our predictions. We'll start with the expected to be highest class. The LMP1 class have 5 entries. Which one will go and win the 24 Hours of Le Mans for LMP1 class? Whether it is or is not overall, that's not the case in this conversation. Because I want to leave that for later.
Well, I'm going to bet that it is a Toyota. Whether it's the 7 or 8, I'm not sure.
Okay, my pick is the number 7 Toyota Gazoo. They were close last year, but the team said, nope, not allowed to race the 8, which was kind of annoying because the 7 was faster. So my pick's the number 7 Toyota.
Well, I'm going to go with experience here. The number 8 Toyota Gazoo Racing with Sebastian Buemi, Brendan Hartley, Kazuki Nakajima would be the best 3 of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. They're going to win LMP1 and overall.
I second that. For overall. They won back-to-back.
Yeah.
And they're going to go do a three-peat for that team.
Best of privateer prediction?
Well, everyone putting their picks for LMP1?
Not me. I mean, honestly, honestly, from what I've been hearing a lot about the Gazoos, it looks like they got their stuff, they got their stuff in order. I'm probably going to go with the more experienced one, just to be a little bit more of a safe pick.
Yeah.
I don't know much about all the keep everything, but I'm just gonna try to be keep it real. So
yeah, that's fine. All the cars in the class will run Michelin tires, by the way. Now, the only class that will have different choice of tires, and you have to register the tire you choose before you enter. Of course, the LMP2 class will probably be the most competitive class. Usually it's a GTM class because it's the privateer GTEs, but in this case, just seeing the stacked load of teams that are there, and maybe maybe that's the answer why there haven't been so many racing in North America in the IMSA WeatherTech Championship or the Asian Le Mans Series, European Le Mans Series, maybe going back there. Well, especially now with the pandemic. But the LMP2 class, you can choose Michelin tires or Goodyear tires. Now, the Goodyear's tire selection teams are not as common as the Michelin selections. And these teams include the number 16 G-Drive Racing with Allgaier, the number 25 Allgaier Pro Racing, the number 31 Pani Racing, the number 37 in Jackie Chan GC Racing, and their alliance, the number 38 Joda Sport.
Yeah.
So that said, which one of these teams will win for the LMP2 class? Looking at the the stacked roster that is competition.
Ooh.
I'm betting Jackie Chan, DC Racing. They've won before.
Who won last year?
Okay, my pick that I'm picking is the number 21 Dragon Speed USA, driven by Juan Pablo Montoya, Timothy Burrett, and Pippo Derani.
Yeah,
that's a good pick.
I'm probably gonna go with that same pick as well.
A lot of experienced drivers.
They won overall for LMP2 last. Hang on. Make sure I'm seeing the correct name. Yes, they am. 36. Singnach. Is that how you pronounce it? Sinach, whatever the heck you pronounce it.
Signatech.
Signatech, yeah.
That for number 36.
Okay.
LMP2.
Oof, this is tough, but I'm gonna
Oh, geez,
my predictions here. If you've been can't even word. If you've been following the World Championship the last 2 years and the European Le Mans Series, you come to realize that these 3 drivers for this team have been winning every race that I've just been watching in 2020.
Yeah, but
these drivers are Philippe Albuquerque, Phil Hansen, and Paul di Resta. United Autosports, number 22, is going to win and continue their success in 2020.
Well, Joseph, they've won races that were not 24 hours. If they can't win the 24 hours, it's going to be like you won everything else but a 24-hour race.
They can certainly succeed in 4 and 6 hour races.
Yeah, but 24 hours, you're doing... If they could do it in 6 hours, you do 4 times of 6 hours. It's unpredictable with 24 entries in that class.
24 hours, anything can happen.
Okay, 8 for the GT Pro class.
Unfortunately, this class was hit the hardest other than the LMP1 when it comes to the variety of entries. Because last year, we knew last year that Ford was pulling out with Chip Ganassi Racing. The Ford GTs were no longer being in competition after 2019. That was already set in stone.
Well,
BMW pulled out their world endurance efforts. That was already announced. But then Corvette took off due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah.
And now that leaves us with 8 entries. Also, Porsche, half their team, the entries from North America aren't in this one either.
Yeah, the 93 and 94 are not entered. They only have their WC entries of the 91 and 92.
So we have 2 Porsche GT team entries, 2 Aston Martin Racing entries, 2 F Corsa Ferraris, but we do have 2 different Ferraris, the WeatherTech Racing number 63 Ferrari and the Racing Competizione Ferrari number 82.
Yeah.
And they all run Michelin tires.
Yeah.
I am going to bet the number 92 Porsche.
I'm gonna go with a little bit of an outsider pick. I'm gonna go with the 89 team with Sebastian Bourdais, Olivier Pla, and Jules Gaudin or whoever. I'm gonna go with a little bit of an outside pick here.
Yeah, my pick is also the number 82 with all. Wait, let me just make sure.
All French lineup.
Yep.
For an American team.
Yep, my pick's the 82.
Those are not bad picks.
All right, so my pick is going
Oh,
to be
jeez.
it's tough. This is a tough group of entries because these drivers are all superb.
I mean, literally, yeah. I mean,
And we're doing
any-
GTE
remember,
Pro.
this is endurance. So
Yeah.
anyone can win these races.
Yeah.
It's gotta be there at the end. All right,
Yeah.
my prediction will be the number 92 Porsche GT team with drivers Kevin Estre, Lawrence Vantor, and Michael Christensen.
So me and Joe on the same page.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go back-to-back years. 51 of AF course. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think everybody had their predictions for
Yeah.
GT Pro.
Yeah.
All right,
Now
last
AM.
the GTEM class is a class that that you can see in the European Le Mans Series, most notably. This is the privateer GTE group. These cars are usually older than the present year of the championship, but when it comes to manufacturers, it's a little less versatile than we've seen in years past. This is just the Ferrari 488 GT Evo, the Porsche 911 RSR.
The Aston Martin Vantage.
Exactly.
AMR. Only 3 manufacturers in there.
Their engines are also restricted to have slightly less power than the
Yeah.
Toyotas.
22 entries, though. All Michelin tires, and it will be competitive.
Yep.
So, my prediction, I think experience might have to take over on this. All right, the number 54 AF Corsa Ferrari drivers Thomas Floor, Francesco Castellacci, and Giancarlo Fisichella.
Okay.
I guess I'll go next. Get my pick out of the way. I'm gonna once again pick a little bit outside the box here. I'm gonna go with the number 77 team, Dempsey Proton Racing, Christian Reed, Ricardo Pera, and Matt Campbell.
Okay.
I am also going to go number 77 because Dempsey Proton has won before.
Okay.
Who won last?
Last year's win was actually disqualified. It was the number 85 Ford.
No, they gave it to the 56, Joseph, and then gave it to the Team Project 1 number 56.
Okay. Back to back again. Number 56 for Team Project 1. Hang on. Is that the team for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Else.
Okay. My pick is the number 83 AF Corsa, driven by Francois Perotto, Emmanuel Collard, and Nicholas Nielsen.
And that rounds out GTEM.
Yep.
And with that said, what class is going to win overall?
I
I know it's an obvious thing.
LMP1. They're
Blake,
faster.
help me out here. There are only 5 LMP1s this year.
Yeah, but they're still faster than the LMP2s. They're still slower.
Yeah.
The GTE pros are not going to be close. The GTE AMs are way going to be behind, but like,
The last time GTE won overall was the 20. I think it was the 2015 Petit Le Mans.
It's been a while.
It was off crazy circumstances. I think it was 2015 or 2016 Petit Le Mans.
Well, that's been years ago, Joseph. For
So
it's unlikely.
But also, Pastor Maldonado is not in a car like last year. My LMP2 pick last year,
How did you
Maldonado.
get from that to Pastor Maldonado? I don't know.
Well, Maldonado would have probably crashed it. Probably. I don't know.
Can I clear something up here about the 2015 Petit Le Mans?
Yeah.
That was run under such heavy rain that the prototypes didn't really. It kind of negated their advantage to the GTs, which was very interesting. The Michelin tires on the GTs were actually grippier than the Continentals that were on the prototypes.
Oh.
So that was why the Porsche actually won overall. It was very interesting. I actually watched it live, but yeah, that's the story. I don't think we'll ever see that again.
Yeah.
Right. There is a chance an LMP2 could win overall. The fact that there's 5 LMP1s, only 2 of them are factory supported, that means there's 5 opportunities in 24 hours for one of those cars to falter and be out of the race. Now, I don't wish that upon anyone, of course, but
Joseph, there's only no rain on Saturday, only 31% chance of rain on Sunday. That's all. So yeah,
it always rains at Le Mans, so it may rain.
Yeah,
it's not June though.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be any 2015 Petit Le Mans. It's
supposed to rain till 3 a.m. Eastern U.S. time. That's when it's supposed to. That's when the last bit of rain hits. So yeah, most of the race will be dry conditions.
Yep, the race will start at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time for U.S. I think it's 8. No, it's usually 9 a.m. But coverage starts like at 8:30.
Yeah, pre-race coverage at 8:30. For me, where I live, for me that's 9:30 a.m.
All right. Anyone want to predict the amount of safety cars we have in the race?
Oh, jeez.
3.
7.
I'll go in between. I'll go 5.
I'll go 4.
Well, you know, in the future, Peugeot is making a return. They won 3 times in the 24 hours of Le Mans. Most recent, of course, 11 years ago in 2009, when the Audi throne was finally taken. I mean, talk about domination. Everyone says that, Lewis Hamilton is winning so much, it makes it boring. Go back to Audi at Le Mans. It almost looked like it was a guarantee they would win just for entering. But now, there's always a period of domination in motorsports. In the end, I guess it's our job as fans to just appreciate it. Nonetheless, thank you very much for joining the Below the Line podcast. But first, I want to give a special shout out to Blue Jimmy 48 fan. Thanks for coming, Brandon.
Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, honestly, I may be a little bit under the radar in the NASCAR YouTube community. I may not be as high as Darian or Jared or even as high as Eric Estep, but it's really, really, really nice of you that you guys and you guys appreciate what I do on especially here on YouTube. I know I've never met Blake before, but I know a couple of you guys are actually really big fans of mine. So I really do appreciate you guys for all the support over the years. So really does mean a lot. I mean, I could plug myself if you want me to. Go ahead.
I just want to ask you, what made you join YouTube? Like,
oh yeah, we're to the fun section now, where we're closing it out of the interview. Okay, now we're finally getting to the interview. Really, how I began on YouTube, I started watching YouTube as early as around age 8. I was about 8 years old when I was first getting into YouTube and everything. I used to record videos all the time with my with the camcorder my family used. They didn't need it anymore, so they let me use it. I used to film all of these like goofy videos and everything. I used to have like my own little NASCAR talk and everything, but I didn't have a channel going. But it wasn't until 2016 or around, like, I would say like mid 2010s. One of the first couple YouTubers I watched, were Joseph Lombard, Magnum 05. I also watched Eric Estep in his early days with the stop motions.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I come across these other channels that post NASCAR reactions. So like Diet 200, Ian Perez, and U2, who else? Twisted Toe. All these NASCAR reaction channels, and and all of a sudden I got inspired by those channels, saying, hey, I could do this. I could record. I mean, I'm passionate about NASCAR. I love Jimmy Johnson to death. I mean, why not just why don't we make this a little bit of a thing going on? So around 2016, I got Instagram. I started getting into social media. I started interacting with some other people within the community. But it wasn't until November of that year when I finally decided, you know what, let's just go do it. Let's just do YouTube. And you know what, if it works out, it works out. If I grow, okay, then we'll see what happens next. But if it doesn't, oh well, we gave it a shot. So the first video I recorded, I actually have the tablet with me. I think I have it. Hold on. This is the tablet that I recorded my first ever video on, and I set up like a little bit of a stand using literally what I have. I didn't even have a stand back then, so literally I had to just rely on the laws of gravity. So, so yeah, the first video I did was to Johnson winning the championship. Johnson winning the 7th championship, and I'm sure probably that's the video most people probably remember me for. Me crying like a little baby or an infant, I guess you could say. But it was all a good love because Jimmy Johnson, my guy. So but yeah, around 2017, I started this thing called the Reaction Squad. I gathered some close friends that I was engaging with in the community at the time, and we set up this little thing together, and it has grown a lot ever since then. It has grown a lot. I mean, not just us as reactors, but also us as friends. We talk pretty much almost every day now, and next year I'm actually planning to meet a couple of them out in person, and basically everything just started falling into place. I started little new series here and there. I've always wanted to do vlogs. I mean, vlogs are just they're kind of like the main thing here. Vlogs are pretty big here on YouTube, so I kind of wanted to take vlogging. I wanted to do some vlogging and everything. With me going to the races, and everything. First off, it started out with me going to Dover, then it expanded to Pocono with the IndyCar, and now this year with New Hampshire, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this year that this vlog in November is going to be the best one yet when I attend Jimmy Johnson's last race in Phoenix. So I'm really fingers crossed on that. If we get it to happen, I'll tell you, I'm thinking it might be up there with honestly the best video I've ever made on this channel to date. And I absolutely love making vlogs. I absolutely do love making vlogs for a living. But then all of a sudden, all these other little blessings came along. All of a sudden, these little blessings came along the way. First off, I became really, really good friends with a Legends car driver by the name of Joseph Costello. He raced at. He used to race slingshots. He used to race slingshots for a few years. Last year was his first full-time season in Legends. We were running at Rubberhead. He invited me out to a couple of the races and help work on the team and do social media work and take video, post pictures, all that good jazz. And little did I know when one time when I was at Riverhead, Joseph crashed.
Oh.
and he got sent to the emergency room.
Oh.
And yeah, I was freaking out, just like everybody else did. But thankfully, everything worked out. He was out of the ride, however, for the rest of the year. And then 2020 hit. So it's been tough with what we got going. But I truly thank God for for even being on YouTube and just allowing myself to express who I am. And if the people accept me if people accept me, that's cool. But if you don't accept me, that's fine. Thank you for the free watch time. That's pretty much it. I mean, but yeah, all these little things came along the way, and I'm honestly looking forward to what lies next. So yeah, I'm really fortunate that you get that guys like you really do appreciate what I do. So I should be saying thank you to you guys for making this community what it is now. So
Thank you. I have to ask, the 100,000 cameras, which was featured on Fox at the return race at Darlington, featured your moment of anger when Jimmy Johnson crashed out trying to avoid the slower car pusher closing out the end of stage one.
That was pain. That was pain. Yeah, I don't know what to say. That one was really hard. But yeah, I saw this 100K cams thing, and you know what? It'd be cool if I get to do something like this. Little did they know they would actually reach out to me they would actually reach out to me. 100K cams themselves would actually reach out to me and saying, "Hey, we want to feature you in our next program." I'm like, that I woke up that morning, my mind was blown. My mind was absolutely blown. I honestly was not expecting that much screen time. And I mean, I really was not expecting that much screen time from what I was doing. But Danny B, Eric E. Step, they all are deserving of more screen time and everything. But I was just really fortunate to even be on the show. That was incredible. That was incredible.
Any questions, you guys?
I'm not good at coming up with questions. Everybody who knows me knows this about me.
Oh yeah, I remember. It was 2018. I remember I started for some reason adding links in my descriptions for some random reason. I'm like, hey, I should add that. I remember I reached out to you on Skype. I asked you if I could add your channel description, like the link of your channel, and I still, like, I always still have it in my description every time. I do like that for different people. I just put their
I really do appreciate, especially the smaller YouTubers that are reaching out to us bigger content creators. I mean, it's I've seen your stuff before. Just keep grinding.
Yeah.
I know you'll get up there soon.
Yeah.
Austin, Blake, you guys have anything?
Yep, had a good time. Enjoyed meeting him for the first time ever.
Yeah, the back into Hampshire. Yeah.
Do you guys sit? Did you guys sit close at New Hampshire, or were you like?
No, I didn't even know he was there. I mean, I could have met Racing Crosses and more too. Sam Dreas, if you know who I'm talking about.
I know original Big Brad was there. He actually.
I didn't meet someone else I met in March earlier this year.
I wasn't expecting Brian to like sit like 2 sections next to me. Like his tickets were originally for like turn 4. That all of a sudden I see him. He's two sections to my right. I'm like, and my dad was pointing that out. I'm like, holy crap! Is that original Big Brian? I'm like, wow. It's like a little bit flabbergasted at that point. But yeah, I did. Even though I spent the whole morning with him, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was sitting down at the restart zone, way down there. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of to say is it's been a pleasure to meet you. I'm not familiar with your channel, but definitely now we'll look at your channel.
Definitely. Thank you, man. We got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff coming up on the channel, and I'm not sure if I already mentioned this, but I not only do vlogs, I not only do reactions, I also league race. I am also a very competitive racer on NASCAR Heat, and back in March, I didn't qualify for the Pro League. I didn't qualify for the NASCAR Pro League, like the whole grind with the setups and everything. But I did, however, qualify for the NASCAR 10K All-Star Race, which was basically like a collaboration of the Pro League guys as well as some new faces who didn't make the cut. So I saw that as a really perfect opportunity to jump on and hopefully make an impression. And yeah, we kept grinding out. We kept changing the setup every single day. I mean, when it comes to setups, I'll tell you this: when it comes to setups on NASCAR, like literally, you could be happy with the car one day, but then something can go wrong the next day. You just gotta keep tweaking at it, until you get it perfect. But we qualified for the in the top 24. Had to miss qualifying, unfortunately, because I was in the wrong car. So, but we managed to work our way to the top 10. We even got to lead for a lap or two. Unfortunately, a pit road miscue is what did us in. But we still got a solid top 10 out of it. So we definitely got some money in that account. But the most important thing I think we got out of that day was we got much needed respect and also mainly respect because honestly, like when I was starting out, with the qualifiers and everything, not a lot of people knew who I was, and I was completely out of left field. But I kept my head in the game. I kept grinding when I needed to. We managed to actually rank in I believe the top 50 prospects. So But ultimately it just didn't work out with in terms of making the top 24. But just honestly, just making that race on its own, the 10K was something to behold, and much needed. And honestly, much needed respect from other competitors is also a definite huge sign. Slade Gravett, pro league driver for Wood Brothers Gaming, he's starting to really show what I can truly do on setups. He signed me up for a part-time stint with the Midnight Broadcasting Network and the Truck Series. I'm not sure what's going to be the future of that, but we'll see what happens. Also, I do. If you guys also don't already know, I also do the Racing League presented by Off Axis Paint, which runs Sunday nights at 8 Eastern Standard Time. We have a 69-point lead. 69. Nice. But yeah, we have a 69-point lead. Nice. Into with 2 races left in the season over Jaw. Really fast driver. Not just preset wise, but setup wise as well. And I highly suggest you guys. I highly suggest you tune in to the Racing League. We put on. We do our best to put on the best show on NASCAR Heat every single week. So really does mean a lot on that. What else am I missing? Oh yeah, one more thing before I think before we wrap this up. I also compete. I'm not sure if you guys know who this guy is by the name of Smoke Carbon 13, Nicholas Throckmorton. Smoke Carbon 13. You don't know who he is?
Tell us about it.
Okay, well, he is also a NASCAR Heat driver, but he goes beyond that. He puts on these incredible events. He puts on these long races. I'm sure you may have known for the Support the Troop 600, which was in May. I'm pretty sure some of you may have already know that I race in these really big events. We got the Support the Troop 600 next month, which will be on October 16th at 8 p.m. I think that'll be at 8. Yeah, on Smoke Cover 13's channel. It will be a custom setup event. By the way, it's going to be a setup race. The Breast Cancer Awareness 500. That will be at Talladega Super Speedway. In December, we have at Atlanta Motor Speedway the Winter Bash 500. And in the beginning of the year, around January, I think, or January or February, we have the Earn Your Stripes 500 at Darlington. So Carbon puts on all these events and everything. He allows us drivers to actually make our own commercials, which actually I'm going to start brainstorming some ideas for my commercial going for next month. So I'm going to try to be a little bit creative with this one. So there's that. But yeah, we've come pretty close a few times. I think we have 6 top 5s and seven events, which is an astounding stat line. Even though we couldn't seal the deal with a win, but yeah, that's I think that's about it with my journey on YouTube up to this point. Just looking forward to the next blessing in disguise. That's pretty much it. So
that's great. Again, we thank you very much for joining the podcast. And next weekend we'll be talking about the 24 Hours of Le Mans. We'll recap the 88th edition of the Classic. We'll go over at Bristol and talk some supercars. We'll preview F1 and do all that. Next weekend.
Yeah, I'll also go ahead and just plug my social media. You know where you can find me and all that stuff. That if that's cool.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, you can find me. You can find me on Instagram. That's usually where I'm the most active at, which will be at Blue Jimmy 40th NYT. Obviously, subscribe to the Blue Jimmy 40th Fan YouTube channel. Race reactions, vlogs, NASCAR league races, special events, and I also do. I I'm sure you guys probably already know I'm a pretty big Angry Birds person, um, so I also post that. So there's that. You can also find me on Twitch. That's where I also stream league races and other like little fun live streams and everything. That handle will be at the Blue Jimmy 40th Fan on Twitch. And I think last but not least, we're starting to get a following going on TikTok for some reason. Uh, so we're closing in, I think, on like 700 followers on TikTok, which is absolutely crazy. Which I actually post NASCAR content on there. So, um, so yeah, my TikTok handle is at Blue Jimmy 40 FMYT. But yeah, that's about it. So once again, thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Joseph, Justin, Austin, to Danny, and also it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting you, Blank. Thank you guys for having me on tonight. It was really cool to be on here tonight.
Thank you very much. Have a great night. And we'll be back next week for episode 77. Have a good one.